What's up, YouTube? Hope everything is well. Today I have an amazing guest. I have John. John, is a pleasure to have you with me. For people that may not know John, and you have your time to make your introduction, but John is a Messi collector, also like me. So I guess we share a big passion in one player in particular. And like I was saying, it's a pleasure to have you with me. I think your collection is beautiful. But share a couple of words with my viewers that may not know you. And I will just say this: I think people will love to give you a follow on Instagram, especially because a lot of my community loves pre-modern, and Messi is probably the biggest name on pre-modern. But yeah, yeah, tell a couple of things to my viewers that may not know you.
Well, Andre, it's a pleasure, you asking me to come on your show.
No, my
Before I tell you
pleasure.
about myself, I just want to tell you that it really is an honor. I used to listen to your show on my way to work every day just to absorb as much information about soccer cards, but Messi in particular. So you giving me the opportunity to actually come on your show and talk to you is a dream come true for a collector like me, because what you do for the hobby, what you do for soccer cards is special, because you take your time and you take all the knowledge that you have and you share it. And that's important, because if you don't have the time or the place like YouTube to share your knowledge, then not a lot of people are going to have the ability to learn new things. So,
Mhm.
so thank you for that. Um, well, my story starts like everybody else's. I was collecting, you know, baseball and basketball cards as a kid. I was 9, 10, 11 years old. I was playing sports. I loved all American sports. Soccer was, nowhere to be found in my life. My father is a big soccer fan, but, growing up in America, I just didn't connect to it. So um, I used to collect a lot of baseball, a lot of basketball as a kid. I used to PC Alonzo Mourning, which his cards aren't worth many or much money now, but I kind of collected his cards like I collect Messi today. I had about
Okay.
a hundred Alonzo Mourning cards. That's all I collected. I stopped collecting everything and I just focused on one player. 30 years later, I'm still doing that. That's just who I am. I don't really diversify too much anymore. I just focus on Messi. But so I think my story is kind of like everybody else's, where I stopped as a teenager and I started collecting again as an adult. The only thing different about my story is that I started around 2017, whereas everybody else started around 2020. So I think that's a difference between me and a lot of other collectors today.
That's a big
Have,
difference.
oh, huge, huge. I mean, I was collecting 2016 Select in 2017. I was collecting 2017 Select in 2017. I wasn't really big into 2014 Prism, because it wasn't the new hot product at the time.
Yeah.
But so and I have to give a shout out to my friend Ricky Rod. He was the one that started, called me up one day. He was a breaker, asked me if I wanted to get into a couple of breaks. I did, and the snowball effect is me being on your show today, 5 years later. So so that's how it all worked out. Basically, it's not very difficult. I used to just, you know, break a lot with soccer breakers with my friend Ricky. Then I eventually broke off of that because it's not really cost efficient to break as much as it back in the day it was.
Yeah, it was a
Teams
different
were
time. Everything
teams were
was so cheap.
$25, teams were $50. Barcelona was $100. I'm sorry, Barcelona was $25. Argentina was $100. Now they're $7.99, $1,000. It's almost impossible to enjoy breaking like you used to be able to enjoy it back then. Because even if you lost, you didn't lose a lot.
No, for
Now
sure.
you lose a lot. So now I'm just heavy into Messi, and it's not that difficult to love the guy. His card prices are high now compared to they were before, but thank God I got in on some early. But I mean, I'm happy where I am. I love the hobby. I that kind of changed my life in the course that it was going. I never knew that I would be obsessed with, you know, soccer cards, obsessed with sports cards when I started back in 2016, 2017. But I would say the word obsessed is the proper way to put it. But that's just it's just the way it is. It's, I love sports cards. I love the people that are involved in sports cards. I love listening to people like you that talk about sports cards. Um, I was a dealer for the first time a few weeks ago. That was kind
Congrats.
of boring. And thank you. I could say very boring, but very fun at the same time. Um, Talking to people from the other side. Um, it was an experience, and I would definitely do it again. I enjoyed it very much. But soccer cards in New York City aren't a big thing. So a lot of people will pass them by. They say, "Oh, beautiful cards," and they would just continue to walk. So not much you can do about that. I think California has a bigger soccer market, I guess, for soccer cards. But it was still fun. I enjoyed it very much.
No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I follow you, I would say, for a long time already on Instagram, or at least I have the idea of following you for a long time. And one thing and this is actually a question I have for you, but I guess I
Mhm.
can also say this now. One thing that I admire about you is, I would say, it's not that uncommon to find Messi collectors. I mean, at the end of the day, he's probably one of
Of
the
course.
players that most people collect. But one thing that I really like about you, because I see myself in you a lot on this, is that you don't collect just ultra modern, because that's almost a easy bet if you think about. I mean, it's okay, you collect the Topps Chrome, the Prism stuff, etc. It's not that difficult to understand that. In my perspective, could be expensive, of course, but it's not that difficult. But you also collect Messi rookies, Messi inserts, cards from different Mundi Chrome, Oeste, and I think that's for me a true collector for Messi, that starts with his rookie year, and also have appreciation for inserts from Mega Cracks, from Mundi Chrome, all of that stuff. I really admire that in you. So, without wasting any time, because this is actually a question, will
Mhm.
be related with a question. I know you are aware how this works. I will shoot you 5 questions in a second, and you give me your first quick thoughts. Then we go back and have a longer conversation. Is that okay, John?
Perfect.
Okay, so the question number one I have for you is a very simple one. Why Messi? And try to find the word to define the reason why you collect Messi. Just one word. Again, we go back and have a longer talk on this, but one word to define basically the main reason for you to collect Lionel Messi.
The one word, when you asked me the question, it was very easy to figure out the one word. It's not my word. It's Ray Hudson, who's a commentator for beIN Sports for many years. Um, and that word is magisterial.
Okay, that's a
And
difficult word, especially for me that the English is not great. But that's
magisterial.
okay.
Whenever Ray Hudson would say magisterial, Messi would make a great play and he would just say magisterial. So
Okay,
that's the word that best describes Messi, in my opinion.
that's perfect. So
Yes.
the question number one: forget about Messi for a second. I think it's fair to say that the soccer card market have 4 goats, Messi being one, then Pelé, Ronaldo, and Maradona. So my question for you is actually related with the other 3 goats. So Pelé, Maradona, and Cristiano Ronaldo, hold one, sell one, and buy one.
I think that's another easy question. Definitely hold Pele. I think that
Okay.
makes the most sense. Definitely buy Maradona. I think after doing some research, for this episode. I really appreciate Maradona more now than I did in the past because I never really got a chance to watch him. And definitely sell Ronaldo. I would say his market is been slowly separating from the Messi market. I think the two of them were very even. And then you can see a difference in price, and now there's a major gap. So I would definitely sell Ronaldo.
Okay, perfect. Question number 3. Now this is more in a serious note because the other ones I also thought it would be fun for you and also easy.
Yeah.
But recently, and was actually one of the reasons I start talking with you more for this podcast. I saw on your Instagram a couple of stories that you seem really concerned about the market in general. I'm not even talking about the soccer card market, but even the entire, not talking about, I'm sorry, the soccer card market, but the entire card market. Why is that? Why you think that we can potentially be in a trend that keeps going down, basically?
Well,
Your
I
thoughts.
think
Your thoughts.
yeah, gotcha. All right. So I think outside sources are going to, I don't want to say the word destroy, but are going to create a down market even more than the down market that we're already in. So I think the down market that we were in was based on COVID and all the money that was going in, and then the prices were sky high, and they weren't priced at that price point for a reason. They were kind of just, FOMO, basically. That was the only reason why those prices were that high. And then people started realizing, okay, LeBron James Chrome PSA 10 is not worth $80,000. It's really worth the $10,000 that it really should be worth. Now, separate from there, now we have the economy doing poor. And now that is going to bring, in my opinion, the card prices down even lower. I don't believe it's from not having the interest in sports cards anymore. I think the interest is really, really high. I was at the National. But I think based on a global recession, inflation, stock market correction, I think that's going to have a big hit on the prices in the future of sports cards.
Hey guys, so a quick pause on the video. Hope you are enjoying this talk with John. I had a great time. A Messi collector like me, and if you love the Lionel Messi market, this is probably a great podcast for you. So if you can leave a like right now on the video, I would appreciate quite a lot. If you can subscribe, that will also be great, but please don't forget that, since at the end of the day we are still a small channel and that can actually help a lot. So I also want to share with you my Patreon community, a space where I put a lot of content. And I would say one thing: if you love my content on YouTube, you probably also love my content on Patreon. To join Patreon, you need to pay around $10. It's a good way to also show support to the channel, but don't feel any type of pressure, by the way, because there will always be free content on YouTube. That being said, if you want to join, I try to provide a lot of value there to justify the $10. I put a new Q&A every Wednesday, and I also put the extra audio where I talk about the state of the market on Saturday. Anyone joining Patreon will be able to ask me questions. I already answered more than 300 questions in the last couple of months, and there is more than 60 Q&As available, plus a good amount of extra audio. So if you join right now, you have access to all of that, a crazy amount of hours if you like this type of content. If you want to check an example of the last Q&A, I end up talking about recent buys in soccer, all of fame potential and the impact that can have for certain areas of the market, soccer versus American sports cards market, talking for example about the vintage being undervalued, which was a topic relevant this week in the Sports Card Investor channel, and more. So it's a place to basically talk about the finance side of the market, and I have a great time there. The community is actually quite amazing. So I also want to say thank you for the crazy amount of Patreon members I already have there. Let's move on to a different thing. Like I said, the Patreon is $10, but one thing that is totally free is actually my Discord community. We are more than 700 members, and we are still a fair, I would say, very new Discord, but we are growing quite fast. It's an amazing place to learn and share, or even to just talk about soccer, or let's say to interact with other collectors like me, or I don't know. There is a lot of great collectors there. Let's put things that way. So both links will be below the video. Both links will be on the description. So please check both if you want to join Patreon or Discord. Like I said, Patreon is $10, but the Discord there is no reason to not join since it's totally free. Let's continue with the conversation. Okay, I mean, well said. But we go back because I think this is a topic that deserves a longer talk. So, question number 4: since you collect both pre-modern and modern for Messi, and like I was saying, actually admire that you collect both markets. What is the best quality you see in pre-modern, and what is the talking about actually the Messi market, but if you want to make this in general for pre-modern and modern, for me that's also fine. But what is the best quality you see in the pre-modern market for Messi and in a modern market for Messi? For people that may not know, let me just say one thing, because sometimes I think that everyone watching this understands the modern, pre-modern stuff. Basically, pre-modern starts on the 80s, for some people on the 90s, and goes until 2013. Then was in 2014 the Prism up getting introduced, and that started a completely different era. But yeah, best quality for modern and for pre-modern, especially for the Messi market.
So, so you're talking about what would be the best product as far as pre-modern?
No, not that. That's not the direction I want to go with this question. What I want actually to ask you is, for example, pre-modern, and I guess I can give an example of my answer if that makes you a little bit more comfortable. For pre-modern, I see more history, I see more lineage. I believe the cards,
of course,
okay, they have probably less rarity, but they also are much more connected with the history of Messi in Spain, etc. For modern, the reality, and you know this very well, at the end of the day, you know the supply if you collect numbered cards. So maybe there is more manufacturer rarity, but also true rarity that can give you a comfort of mind when it comes to pop reports and stuff like that, basically.
You know, one of the reasons why I love pre-modern is because they're not American-made products. They're from Spain, they're from Portugal, they're from the UK, and I love collecting stuff from other countries. It makes it more valuable to me that I cannot get this here when I was a kid, and the card was printed. And that's why I love the Campio versus the Campione, because I love telling people that the card was printed only in, you know, Catalonia, and that would basically be like part of a borough in New York, where I'm from, versus all of New York State, which is huge.
Oh,
so
for sure.
That's one of the things I love about the Spanish cards, you know, is that they're rare in America. I'm sure there's many thousands of these cards, you know, sitting inside of binders. The condition is very poor. That's what makes some of these cards more valuable than they should, you know. But as far as American products go, yeah, everybody loves colors in America. Like, everybody loves to see the rainbow. Everybody loves the out of 50 gold, out of 10 gold, sapphire orange, sapphire green. Is I think what makes those cards special is it's tough because it's only special because it's a different color. It's strange, but it's true.
I mean,
in a way.
For example, don't you think that I like pre-modern more.
Yeah,
If the prices are being the same, I would I would
of
pre-modern
course.
for me will be always the choice. But I think there is something also to say that the first top scrum for Messi, I mean, at the end of the day, we are in a space that is the card market, and top scrum always have been a powerful brand in sports. So I kind of like that in modern, that, well, thank God we have Top Scrum. Thank God we have Prism right now, because that makes us a more global market, a more American market. So I also appreciate that.
I definitely see your take on the 2017 Top Scrum. I think the look of that card, the design is going to last a lifetime for collectors. I think people are going to look back at 2017 Topps Chrome. Not, I think people like 2017 Topps Chrome more than 2014 Prism. In some ways, I think it's the more modern, cool thing to collect. I think 2014 Prism is kind of a little bit outdated, even though I think the prices of the cards are a little bit higher. I
Okay.
think there's something about the 20, I guess because the boom started around those cards, the Mbappe rookie. Um,
Exactly. That's the
that
reason.
really is what, and like I said, when people started to get into the hobby, that was what they started to collect as the first big major, product that was, and it wasn't even that major when it first came out, but in 2020, 2021, something changed in the eyes of collectors where they went back and looked at that product as the product.
Sure.
And I think that's going to be embedded in a lot of people for a very long time,
No,
just based
I
on,
agree.
yeah, like what Super Trout. I don't know if you saw the video of him opening up the case of he gets this red Messi sticker and
Oh, I
everybody
saw.
goes nuts. I
So
mean,
crazy.
crazy, crazy. But I think that's I have a lot of that to say about one of your questions that you can ask me next. So we'll just keep it at that.
Oh, for sure. And this conversation between Top Scrum and Prism is honestly a great conversation, because I also think about that. For some reason, I feel like, and we go in a second more deep into this, but I also feel like that people probably, at least again, I have no data to say this is true or not, by the way, but because
Mhm.
actually, if you look at data, prices are strong for Prism. But I also have that feeling that people like the Top Scrum set more than they like the Prism. And lately, I've been getting more of that feeling. I don't even know why that well, but I also share that with you. I also feel that that's true. So last question, and again, is the same question for everyone. Unpopular
Mhm.
opinion, or take about the hobby, basically, or the soccer card market is up to you.
Yeah. So I'm stuck between two. So I'll just give you two quick ones, and then I guess we'll go half and half because
Okay.
um, I couldn't decide. I couldn't decide which one basically. So the first one would be um, I believe that breakers have a place in the hobby. A lot of people hate breakers. I think what breakers do for the hobby is basically what started to get more people into the hobby. They were able to get in cheap. They were able to gamble. I was a little bit of a gambler. I started to gamble on sports cards instead of sports games. And then I fell in love with the sports card. And even if you're down 50%, I'm like, I still got 50% of my money. It's still not bad if you consider me
Yeah.
losing a parlay and I got no more money left. So so that was my mentality early on. Um, so when I was at the National, you know, I'm sitting there trying to negotiate with a dealer, and behind us there's people breaking and the eruption and the roars and everybody's screaming. You turn around and then you look back and you're like, you have this uneasy feeling like you're being disrupted by something, But but I think it has a place. The whole screaming every time you get a card, the whole screaming, like Blez, he just screams constantly. It's annoying. but it has its place,
Is the
and I don't ever want to see it go away.
dopamine effect, right? People
Yes,
getting that.
but I don't want to see it go away. I don't want to see it go away. I want it. I don't know what it does for the hobby long term, but as far as right now, I think it's very good. And I don't know about positive in that sense, but it's good for the hobby.
All right.
But that's kind of like a boring topic because everybody talks about whether breakers are good or bad for the hobby.
I see. To be fair, I feel like that's a hot take right now because I also see a lot of negativity for breakers that they are running the hobby. So again, I guess we can debate this a little bit later. I'm not that in favor, but to be fair, I always when I, on my channel I share this take a couple of times that I don't like breaks that much because I think people can actually get really addicted, can create real problems in the
Mhm.
future. But that being said, look, I also don't want to judge other people because I don't participate in breaks. It's not my thing. So maybe I also do not understand that well what other people can get from that, what maybe the experience is worth to have that to participate on the break, you know. So this is a complex topic to be fair, because it's
For
very
sure.
easy to see goods and bads. I also think, like you said, I mean, breaks generates a lot of views, a lot of clips going around. This guy got the one of one Cristiano Ronaldo or something like that,
Mhm.
and that's also easy marketing. That's also something that elevates the hobby in general, in terms of awareness, in terms of getting to more people. So I also don't think breaks are bad and that's it. No, I think it is much more complex than that. I just think that some type of regulation in the future could be good, but I also think we are quite far from that, you know. So I kind of have mixed feelings, but yeah, I think your take is also very good in the sense that you end up explaining why you feel that breakers are important for the hobby.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
you
I
said
agree. I think,
you have
yeah.
two takes, right?
Yeah, I just have one more, quick one. Um, I want to give a shout out to Sports Card Radio because I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're kind of like the card porn of YouTube.
Oh, I know,
Um,
I know. Yeah, I know
so
what channel you're talking about.
a lot of people bash those two guys. They talk a lot of smack. You know, I think one of the things that you got to give them respect for is that they're exposing people that are banned for the hobby, and they're doing it like card porn, but card porn is anonymous, where these guys, they show their face, they say names, they're not afraid of exposing the truth. And I think what they do for the hobby is very important. What they do by exposing the lies and the cheats and the ways to get scammed, that helps other people not get screwed. You know, you don't know you're being helped, but the knowledge that they're giving you makes you more aware of how you can get hurt in this hobby. Because where there's easy money to be made, bad people are going to be entering, trying to make easy money, you know? So,
No, that's for
so
sure.
yeah. And a lot of people don't, a lot of people, you read the comments and a lot of people don't like them. And maybe because they're a little bit smug at the way they approach their videos. But in the end, I think they do a great job.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the question number one, and we will revisit all these topics. So I basically end up asking you one word to define Messi, to define one of the reasons why you collect Messi. I'm not gonna try to say the word, to be fair with you, because I think I will not be
It's not
able
that difficult. It's not that difficult.
not be able to
Magisterial. But
magisterial. Okay,
it sounds a lot better out of Ray Hudson's mouth than it
okay.
does mine. He's a Scottish, I think, sportscaster. He played soccer for a little while.
No, I
Um,
actually I believe I'm aware of
yeah.
the commentator that you are talking about.
Mhm.
So actually, I will share with you why I love to collect Messi first. And because when I'm preparing these questions, I also try to think the answer I could have in mind if someone ended up asking me that. And my word is probably not as good as yours, but for me, it's genius. Honestly, I think is just that. I think Messi is one of a kind. Best player I ever saw. I also don't want to judge Pelé and Maradona because in reality I don't know. But for the players I saw, Messi is by far the best one. I think Cristiano Ronaldo is not he's not that far. Even if I'm a more Messi collector, I also respect Cristiano Ronaldo a lot. His numbers are insane. I made a video recently about the best players by decade, and I actually ended up putting Messi the best player I saw in the last decade, and was very close with Cristiano Ronaldo because even in terms of Ballon d'Ors in the last decade was very competitive between both. But the reason I ended up going for Messi is just Cristiano Ronaldo is the top goal scorer, but Messi is the top goal scorer and the top assister. So it's just something that we never saw be done. There is a lot of guys that score a lot of goals, honestly, and you see Lewandowski, you see Benzema, there is Harry Kane, but scoring a lot of goals, giving a lot of assists, and I also think there is the tangible variables that you can see what's going on, and there is the intangible virus in the sense that things that you cannot quantify that well. I mean, the magic that Messi have with the ball, that is not shown on stats very well. I mean, Messi a lot of times picks the ball on the midfield and creates basically is almost a midfielder that ends up finalizing at the end. So I always admired Messi a lot because of that. And I think his market is amazing to collect because, again, going back to the other stuff, you have pre-modern cards, you have modern cards. I focus more on pre-modern because I really like the history, especially Messi have a lot of rookies, so there is always something that I can upgrade. But yeah, I mean, I love to collect Messi, nothing new to you and for my viewers. And I also have this idea, very basic to be fair, that if you believe in the soccer card market, I mean, you kind of need to believe in Messi market in general. Sure, there will be some cards that will perform better than others. I'm sorry. Even if we start talking about his rookies, for example, and I think it's fair to say that the Barça Campeón in general, the Spanish version, the pop is a little bit too high, at least for my taste, being honest with you. But then you have the Catalan version, then you have the ST sticker that are much lower pop. So is a market that I still have a lot of fun, and I feel even modern. By the way, I have some modern cards for Messi. I had the Top Scrum, I had the panini treble, so I also enjoy even the modern market for Lionel Messi. But what about you? And now you can explain more your thoughts.
Well, like you said, the intangible things that Messi brings is probably what makes him so special. I think one of the things I said to Rodman when I was on his live was what makes him better than Ronaldo. Well, I think Ronaldo's the best player off the ball, and I think Messi is the best player with the ball. Now, you know, as far as a total game goes, I think a soccer player only has the ball for 60 seconds a game. Messi might have it for 2 or 3 minutes, 4 minutes, but that's really it. For a 90-minute match, you only have the ball 2, 3 minutes, and he still is able to do everything that he does. You know, he dribbles a lot, so I'm sure he has the ball way more than, let's say, Luis Suarez would have the ball for the amount of time in the game. But I think he's the best player ever with the ball. And I think that's what makes him the best player to have ever played the game.
John,
I watched a lot of... Go ahead.
Just one thing, because you ended up talking about this earlier on the video. If you like Messi, you probably also love Maradona, because Maradona life was a little bit crazy.
I was just going to say that.
To be fair, so his career...
Yeah.
Launch is different times. Let's put things that way.
Yes.
But Maradona, in terms of play style, was similar to Lionel Messi. Great dribble and picking the ball a lot on the midfield. So just something that if you want to explore the vintage market, you probably find more joy watching Maradona highlights than, for example, Pelé.
Of
I
course.
think
And I was actually,
Pelé was more a Cristiano Ronaldo type of player, very strong, genius also, by the way, but
yeah,
very strong, was ahead of his time. But I think Maradona relates much more with Messi, even in terms of very short players, etc.
I
So
actually wrote down that before yesterday, I thought that Messi was one of a kind. And now that I watched a lot of Maradona videos, I realized that Messi is not one of a kind. He is a he is a brand new version of Maradona. And so many goals that Maradona scored. I watched Messi highlights and I said, wait a second, that looks like the
it's the
time that he's
same
it's the same
thing.
exact thing. It's crazy to think that everybody says Messi, 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 Messi. And you know what? Maradona said um, that he is my replacement, basically.
Yeah.
So he is. And the fact that they're both Argentinian, the fact that they're both 5'7", I think Maradona was stronger, but as
I actually think
small that Messi is, yeah,
yes, exactly. I
as
think you're
small as
smaller.
Messi is, he's still you cannot knock him down. That has more to do about balance and agility and
John,
his center of gravity.
there is an interview, I believe, with Fabregas, that said that one thing that Messi is super strong is his legs. He's actually very strong in his legs. That's why it's so difficult to put Messi down, because Messi may not look strong, but if you look at his legs, he's actually really, really strong. Same thing with Maradona, by the way.
Yeah.
They are very similar players. I would say one thing that some people may get surprised by this take I will share now. Messi for me is the best player ever. I think without a doubt, Messi is the best player I saw. But I think in one day, in pure prime, Maradona is probably the best player ever. But he's just
Wow.
in his day, because
Yes. Yes. Yes.
if you see what Maradona did in the World Cup '86, he's just insane. I mean, the guy basically had a team that was not that bad as people tried to make, but also was not that good. Ended
Well,
up winning World Cup, and with Napoli before Maradona was fighting to not get relegated, and with Maradona end up winning
don't
the.
you think that that's what Messi kind of did in 2014, where the team was good? I mean, they had a prime Aguero, they had a prime
Was
Di
a better
Maria.
team than Maradona, but I would agree
Okay.
with you. If Maradona end up not Maradona, I'm sorry, if Messi end up winning, but the problem is he end up losing. So at
Yeah.
the end of
True.
the day, that there is always no matter if you go to the final, if you lose. For me, honestly, it matters because I still look at that. Look, Messi did the best he could at the time. If Higuain scores that goal, Messi have a World Cup right now. So
Yeah.
or
I know.
potentially better saying, but. I feel like Argentina have a great chance this year. Honestly, not saying they are the favorites, but they are probably top five, maybe even top three, because I think France and Brazil are so good. But
Mhm.
Argentina is up there also. So who knows? Maybe.
I think that Argentina is probably going to go in to the World Cup with the most to lose if they do lose. And I think every single player on that team is going to win and give literally all they got. And if they get a few, you know, balls bounce in their favor, that's really what you need. You need a little bit of luck in these major tournaments. It's not just
No, for
who's the
sure,
better team.
for sure.
And nobody is going to play harder than Argentina. The players, nobody is going to play harder. Nobody has more to lose. They have the best player in the world. I hope not in his last World Cup. I hope he's kind of like Pele, where he plays a World Cup when he's close to being 40, which I think is very possible. I think it's 50-50 that he plays in 2024, especially it being in America. That would, and I think at that point he's probably going to be playing in America. I hope,
Mhm.
he might be going to Inter Milan in a few years.
But by the way,
Um,
I don't think
into Miami. Sorry.
no. That I just don't think Pele was that old. Actually, I could be wrong,
No.
but I don't think so.
Well, I
But
think the
again,
condition that Messi's in at what is he, 35, 40, that would be very, very tough. But Ronaldo's almost there. Ronaldo's what, 37, and
yeah,
he's gonna be playing for Portugal. So Messi, I think, is 35. So he'd be 39. I doubt it.
is
Maybe
not
less
is
than
not
50
impossible.
50, but it's not 0%. I'm
I agree.
guessing.
I just think that Messi may quit in the sense that you know what, this is my even if he's playing at the
Farewell.
time, he may not come to the Argentina squad. But who knows? I mean, this is pure speculation.
I think whatever he wants to do, they will make him do. I think if he's still performing
No, I
at
agree.
the
Yeah,
peak, he's at the peak of his game. He's playing for PSG. He's playing for Argentina. He just won the Copa America final. Um,
I would say one thing.
he's not
Last
degrading.
last season was not the best for Messi, even though pains me to say
Well,
this
I think
season
that was more factors that came into play than just his skill.
could very well be. This season
Yeah.
he's playing much better. I mean, a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of assists already scored goals. So I'm actually really curious to see what Messi does this season. Of course, the World Cup will be in 2 months, so that will be probably the most important tournament ever for Messi. But I agree with you. I still think Messi have a lot in his game to show. I think Cristiano Ronaldo is in a different situation. Cristiano Ronaldo seems a little bit more in a really downtrend than Messi, but this season is super important for Messi, and I think you agree with that, right?
It's a major season for
Yeah,
Messi because of what he did last year. I don't see him performing. Uh, his numbers weren't great, but I think his personality kind of made him take a step back. He was playing with Mbappe, he's playing with Neymar. The atmosphere, I think he gets affected greatly by the atmosphere. So I think if he's unhappy in a situation, he might not perform as well. But he actually said his own words that he was going to take a step back from trying to score goals and try to be more of a facilitator and, become more of an assist guy, which he's so good, he could basically just change how he wants to play at any time. And that's kind of what he did. He had a lot of assists last year in a very few games that he played.
John,
So it wasn't like, yeah,
Xavi.
it wasn't like it was an accident
No, for
that
sure.
he played poorly. He kind of did it on purpose in a way. As messed up as that
A
sounds.
fun thing about actually related with that was when Messi was playing on the Tiki Taka Barcelona with Xavi Iniesta. I remember a old interview of Xavi that they end up asking, "Oh, do you think Messi is the best ever?" And he said, "Yes." Do you think Messi could in the future do what you do, make your position in the field? And he said, if Messi wants to make my job, Messi is the best player in the world at my position. He really believed that if Messi wants to become a midfield, Messi is the best
Yeah.
midfielder in the world. So Messi, and that could be a problem with players like, and we are seeing that right now, to be fair, with Cristiano Ronaldo, that they rely so much on the power, speed, that with age, that stuff starts going away, basically.
Yes.
And Messi quality with the ball, I mean, maybe a little bit slower than it was 10 years ago. I think that's also normal, but he's still there. He's still a player that can change the game quite easy. So
I think that's what makes Cristiano Ronaldo uh, so good at what he does, because he's never gotten to the point where he can't perform at his peak. And what makes these guys so special is that they were able to stay healthy for so long, which is very, obviously important if you want to be a professional athlete. Is if you're not healthy, you're not on the field. You're not on the field, you're not improving your game. If you're rehabbing a knee injury or an ankle injury, your touch is not the same as it was. Your conditioning is not the same. So you step onto the pitch and then you're just not yourself. And it takes a little bit longer for you to finally get to that point where you're comfortable with yourself and you're at your peak again. And then you have to stay healthy and then perform. It's kind of what Dembele is doing right now. Dembele was always hurt, and then he gets onto the field, and then he just looks terrible. But you see him at Dortmund, and he just was doing extraordinary things with the ball. Now he's kind of been healthy for a year.
No, he looks good, actually.
Playing at his peak again.
Yeah.
He looks great. He looks phenomenal. And he's matching up perfectly with Lewandowski. I think Barcelona looks great, but not to change the subject go for Messi, but I'm saying that's what makes them so good is what happened to Dembele was what happens to a lot of athletes. And, you know, maybe their conditioning isn't as good, or maybe they're not into eating right or working out right. And I think what Messi and Ronaldo do, and you have to be a little bit lucky also, especially the amount of times that Messi has been taken out, you know, is that they both were able to not sustain injuries, kind of like the Brazilian Ronaldo. You know, I know you speak a lot about him having that injury and kind of changing the course of his career. I mean, how long has Messi been, in your opinion, how long has Messi been at the peak of his, you know, athletic ability? Has it been 10 years? Like, that's insane. He's kind of like LeBron. LeBron is
probably more than 10 years, actually.
Yeah,
because in 2007, Messi made top 3 Ballon d'Or. So if you make top 3 Ballon d'Or, you are already playing at a top level. And I would say again, last season was not the best, but until 2021, Messi played at the top of his game. So could be between 10 to 15 years in my perspective, honestly. So I think it gets a little bit more to debate, but again, it's crazy. And to be fair, same for Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo, again, this season is not looking that great for him, but Cristiano Ronaldo always have been performing at the top of his game. And I also think we'll see more of this in the future. People, I see a take that, oh, these two guys are special, and they are special without any type of doubt. But I also think players will start playing longer because of science. Basically, they have much more knowledge right now that they had in the past. In the past, I remember a player with 31 years old was done basically. Right now, 31, 32 is when a lot of players end up actually hitting their prime. So I think different times, and we'll see more players having launch as good as Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. That's more difficult, of course, but I think players will play long. And if Ronaldo, the Brazilian one, had that injury now, will still be an awful injury, but I feel that they will be able to solve the problem, you know, or at least in an easy way that they had, because Ronaldo, I believe, was almost 2 seasons without playing. Nowadays, that seems almost crazy, even to think about 2 seasons. I mean, maybe 1 season, but any other is back. So again, this is speculating to a certain point, but I think science is much better right now. So, I
just want to say one more thing about Messi.
Sure.
I tell people, as good as he is, maybe this, I'll be able to say it right or wrong, but he's only a little bit better than other professional soccer players because he's this much quicker. He's this much faster. He's able to get the ball this much past the defender. He's not Superman playing with mortals. He's just a little bit better. And that little bit makes him get the ball between 2 defenders. You know, a lot of times you see him, he'll take a shot, and the defender, his foot is this close to blocking the ball. But because he's that much quicker, his decision making is that much quicker, he's able to do the things that he's able to do. And it's a game of inches, but to Messi, it's a game of centimeters. So that's why he is so good, in my opinion.
It's the same thing for example, if you watch the 100 meters, the sprint, I mean, at the end of the day, if you
Yeah,
look just at the
I know.
seconds, all of them are very close. But the one that wins is a huge difference for the last one, or even for the second, a lot of times. So, at top, the when we are talking about the the top of the mountain, basically things are
Mhm.
all the players are amazing at the end of the day, but even if you are just a bit faster, a bit stronger, that makes a huge difference, especially
Exactly.
in the long run in your career. So the question number two was, I said, forget about Messi, buy one, sell one, old one. And you said, old Pelé, buy Maradona, and sell Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's start with actually Cristiano Ronaldo. Why you think this could be, again, you are forced to choose, so maybe your perspective is not even that you want to sell Cristiano Ronaldo, but why you end up putting Cristiano Ronaldo at selling?
Uh, well, I think some cards long term are holds for Cristiano Ronaldo. I think his rookie card, of course, is number one. His sticker is number one that you I would not sell. But all of his other modern and pre-modern, like his Manchester United cards, I think are popular. But if I had the choice, I would be selling those right now. I think his stock is down. And you also don't want to sell a card when the stock is down. But I think the amount of cards also that are on the market for Ronaldo are a lot higher. You know, the quantity of cards, especially his autographs. He's got way more autographs than Messi does. I think his career is on the tail end. Even though I'm sad to see it, I don't think he should be sitting on the bench. I think that he should be playing a game on a team somewhere and still scoring goals. And I think that would help his market right now. But it's been a slow decline over a year, obviously because the market's been down. So even Messi cards have been down. But you can see the gap widening between the Messi prices and the Ronaldo prices because a lot of times you would say, let me find a comp for this card. And you would say, I can't find a comp for a Messi, but Ronaldo sold for 1,000. So I'm putting the Messi at around 1,000. Now, if you see a comp where Ronaldo's 1,000, Messi's 1,500, so the gap is widening. I think Ronaldo collectors, I think they're a different breed of people. I don't think you put a Messi collector and a Ronaldo collector. I don't know if they match too well psychologically. There's something about loving Messi and thinking that he's the best player in the world, and then there's something about loving Ronaldo and thinking that he's the best player in the world. I think there's two different types of people that think that way. So
I agree with that, by the way.
yeah,
I
yeah.
also think that
So
that's true.
so I would, and I have a few Ronaldo cards, and the Ronaldo cards that I own are from uh sets where I wanted to match the card with the Messi. So early in my collecting years, when I restarted, if I had a Messi, I needed a Ronaldo because I didn't really hate Ronaldo. I just didn't really want to collect his cards. I didn't want to put my money into them. Plus, I was a Barcelona fan, so anything that he did was kind of like a sour taste. But so I needed Messi and Ronaldo. If I bought a Messi card and I saw that it was a Ronaldo version, the two of them together was really, it felt like a piece of the puzzle was
Yeah, yeah.
connected. Um, but then you started to see his prices slowly decline. And changing teams, he went to Juventus. Not a lot of people like his cards in a Juventus jersey, I think. And even though what he did for the Italian fans in Italy, I think it was great to see
He
the
played
world's.
amazing. He played amazing at
Yeah, he
Juventus,
was
but
yeah, he was great. He was still at the peak. He was still scoring goals like crazy. But he does change the culture on the team a little bit. I think there's a video of him cursing and screaming in the locker room. You could find it
yeah.
somewhere. And it's just not a good look. And It's just you would never see Messi disrupt
But
a
don't you
team that way.
but don't you think that's not a good look because you like Messi more? Because put things this way, if you are a Ronaldo fan, maybe you actually like that attitude. You know what I'm trying to say? Maybe think, oh, look, Ronaldo is mad. Ronaldo is the only player trying to win the
Yeah,
game.
no,
So
I agree
you know what
100%.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to say? I think is maybe me and you, we have that perspective. But if you are, instead of Messi collector, you are a Ronaldo collector, you think, no, Ronaldo at the time was completely right about that. So I think
Yeah.
it could be about perspective, honestly.
I love Ronaldo's determination to want to win every single thing that he does. Like he wants to win. And um, I think more people, let's just say, as a parent, I have a son who's playing soccer right now. Who would I want my son to be on the field as far as personality goes? So you have Ronaldo, he's fiery, he's strong, his spirit is just, very,
Unbreakable.
very unbreakable. And then you have Messi, who's very unassuming. You don't know what he's going to be like. Everybody says, "Oh, he walks around the first 5 minutes and he just watches, and he's very boring the first couple of minutes of a game." And Pep said he's just watching everything and kind of examining in a way, and it takes him a little bit while to get started and all that, which I don't believe. I think it's just um, what can he starts the game and he had the assist within 8 seconds for PSG the other day. So I think that's just kind of like a weird thing to say about Messi, how he's doesn't do anything the first 5 minutes, which I don't believe. It's just the way Barcelona plays. Barcelona doesn't really do much in the first 5 minutes. They just kind of like just pass the ball around and get warmed up, right? So, but as far as a parent, I would want the best of both qualities in my son, but that would be impossible to have, you know. But when I see kids act like Ronaldo on the field, it looks bad. When I see kids, I would say ball hog like Messi, where they dribble, and they don't pass, it kind of looks bad as well because everybody wants to be like Messi, but nobody's like Messi, you know? So it kind of takes away just the. I've always thought this in a way, and a lot of people say that go to Steph Curry. In a way, Steph Curry ruined the game of basketball for kids because all the kids want to do is shoot 3-pointers. And that's not the game. So now as a coach, you're coaching 10-year-olds. Everybody wants to be on the perimeter shooting threes because that's what the greatest player in the world today is doing. But that's not how soccer's played. I mean, that's not how basketball's played. Basketball's just passing, find the open man, shoot. Same thing goes with soccer. Messi, everybody wants to be like. So everybody wants to dribble past 5 defenders. And that's not the way soccer's played. So in a way, Messi, as much of a fan as, but in a way, he kind of ruined the way the game is played for children psychologically. Because everybody just wants to dribble like a snake through 5 people. And then all the kids are just standing there because I've been watching youth soccer for many years, and everybody wants to wears Messi shirts. And in a way, he kind of changed the psychology of the game for children, is that everybody wants to just dribble. And there's only one person that could do that, and that's him, and nobody else. So, but as far as who I would want to see, I would rather have my son, because my son is more like Messi in a way. He's very calm on the pitch. I would want to see him more fiery.
Yeah.
But also not complain as much, because I think Ronaldo just complains way too much.
About that, actually, I was talking about this yes, I believe yesterday or something. Maybe not yesterday, but this week on Discord, and I was telling one of the people there that I actually admire Cristiano Ronaldo more than I admire Messi, even though I think Messi is a better player. Because the thing with Messi is, of course, he's very good, no doubt about that, but his talent is not something that we explain very well, you know. But Cristiano Ronaldo, you can explain much better. You know what? This is a man that always believed that he could compete with the best. Made a lot of sacrifices. Not saying that Messi did not do that, because Messi also made a lot of sacrifices. But I think Cristiano Ronaldo could be more a example to all of us than Messi, because of, yeah, Messi have a lot of God-given talent, you know, and Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, have a lot of talent, but even Cristiano Ronaldo says this was a lot of hard work. So if you want to teach that to a kid, I think, look, hard work, maybe you are not the best at this, but you can become the best one day. So I think it's a little bit easier to admire Cristiano Ronaldo, even though I still think Messi is a better player, but I still admire. And I'm Portuguese, so of course, I
No,
also like.
I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I also have tremendous respect for Cristiano Ronaldo. I think Cristiano Ronaldo is, without a doubt, one of the best players ever. And if it's much easier to admire Cristiano Ronaldo, because, man, the man fights against the world a lot of times. FIFA at one point was not he had a couple of problems with FIFA. FIFA had a lot of corruption. So he's a player. Maradona, honestly, was similar on that, because Maradona was also against the world, but Maradona also had the God-given talent. So was more a mix at the end of the day. And one of the reasons Maradona was also so popular was the personality. Maradona was like, you love him or you hate him. There is not in between, you know, even not related with this, but even in terms of his political ideas, you know, he was friends with Fidel Castro, so very far left. Some people love that, other people cannot relate with that at all, you know, but yeah, basically
I
it's different.
think if they were to make a movie and they would have based it on Ronaldo's life, a real movie, like with actors and all that, not a documentary, I think it would be a great movie because of how he grew up and the story of, you know, maybe having to work extremely hard to getting to where he was, um, with his mother raising him and his father not being there, and you know, just not being the best player at all the time, like Messi was. Messi was always the best player. He was always the best, player on his team from the age of, let's say, 13 when he started at Barcelona up until he became a professional. He was always supposed to be the greatest.
That's true.
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to watch a movie about how a kid is so great and he's still great. Everybody wants to see the adversary uh, of especially seeing a kid with not the most talent in the world, seeing a professional athlete. I mean, when he was playing for, was it Lipson or
Uh,
Lisbon?
Sporting Lisbon, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what kind of player he was at that point. I mean, he must have been good because United picked him up.
No, yeah,
But
Christian.
was he supposed to be one of the
Okay,
greatest players? Did they see him that way?
uh, more or less. Let me explain why.
Okay.
Cristiano Ronaldo, in terms of talent, the scouting team always said this kid is special. But Cristiano Ronaldo was not the most special. For example, in his team, not Barcelona, Sporting, Quaresma was more talented than Cristiano Ronaldo. So people thought Cristiano Ronaldo probably will be a very good player in the future, but Quaresma is the guy to
Wow.
become one of the best ever. And Quaresma career was a decent one, but nothing special. And even at United, at one point, people thought Wayne Rooney was the man, and not Cristiano Ronaldo. So Cristiano Ronaldo, for a long time, always had to fought against against all of this. But Messi, in the other hand, also had a little bit of that, because Messi in Argentina was not finding his way, ended up going to Barcelona, as Barcelona had to take a risk on him. So I think both can have great stories, but you are correct that in general, Cristiano Ronaldo ended up fighting more against the world, against problems that okay, maybe I'm not the best, but I will try to. Okay, you guys think he's Rooney, so check this out.
Yeah,
And yeah, but that's true, honestly.
I think there's no doubt in anybody's mind. As much as you dislike Ronaldo, as much as any whoever dislikes Ronaldo, whoever that person is, because I don't really dislike him. I just don't want to collect his cards, basically, you know. But I think he's a champion, no matter what
Well,
you say.
by the
He's
way,
a true champion.
I love
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Let me put this
Mhm.
out there. Actually, I also collect Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm just honest with myself. I think Messi is the best player ever, but I also think Cristiano Ronaldo is an amazing choice if you want
And I
to
think he's a
collect
good
greatness.
person off the field. I think he doesn't get a lot of credit for that. I think what Ronaldo does off the field, I think he does more off the field than Messi does off the field in a way. Messi's more secluded. He's more family man.
He's more
You
shy,
know,
right?
he's shy. He doesn't really expose himself too much. Ronaldo is really out there, but I think what Ronaldo does, he gives you a glimpse of his life in a way. He puts himself out there. I don't think it's showboating. I think he just has everything that everybody wants in their life. He has the yachts and the planes and the beautiful homes, and he's also a family man.
Yeah.
He loves his kids. He loves his wife. Um, he's a family man, Ronaldo. So he's not. I think he gets a lot of negativity with how he acts on the field, but off the field, I think he's probably different. I think he's a different person.
I,
And I know you like TCG. So I kind of told my son because he likes Pokemon. He's not a big sports card collector, and I'm probably gonna mess this up, but you could probably fix this analogy for me. So I said, when you're off the field, if you want to be the regular Charizard, the regular. I want you to help me figure this one out. Be the regular Charizard, but as soon as you cross that line, I want you to turn into whatever Charizard turns into, when he gets mad or whatever I want you to help me out. So,
but
so
I
I want him to be the.
okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I understand, but and by the way, I Pokemon is actually a market that I don't follow that close
Okay.
as, for example, Magic. But I actually don't think Charizard turns in. I think Charizard
Okay.
is the top of
He's
the
Charizard is
evolution.
Charizard.
Yeah.
Okay. I want him to
But I
change
get your
his
point. Yeah.
personality. So I want him to be whatever Pikachu is, and then I want him to turn into
Raichu, I believe is.
whatever Pikachu
Yeah.
turns into when he gets angry. Like, don't piss off Pikachu. When you piss off Pikachu, he turns into this other character. That's who I want my son to be when he steps onto the field. You can be
Okay.
whoever you are off the field, but when you go on the field, and that's kind of what Ronaldo does, I think. Ronaldo turns into this person that this fiery, aggressive, you know, athlete. But I think off the field, he's a little bit different. I could give him that at least. At least that's how I perceive him. Messi, I think, is kind of like the same. Messi doesn't seem to have changed his personality on and off the field. Once he gets the ball to his feet, it's almost like, you pull the string and you take and he takes off. So he does. Once he gets the ball to his feet, he does change a little bit, like something clicks, and he becomes this superhero-like player.
No, I mean, yeah. So basically, I guess you explain why not old, sell Ronaldo. But what is the reason to sell to in this case buy Maradona and old Pelé?
Well, I think if I think Maradona cards are cheap
I
right
agree
now.
that.
I mean, a lot of them are very cheap. I don't know about the pre-modern cards, but I know there's a lot of his autographs on the market. I think a lot of his for to get a Maradona autograph, even though some are stickers, but you could still get an on-card autograph for a couple of $1,000, which is probably not a lot of money for somebody as great as he is and who's no longer alive.
Yeah,
So
is the only one not signing right now from all the three. So
yeah. So I think Pele is his prices now that everybody, he might be in the hospital, he might be sick, that I think a lot of people are jumping on his cards. So his prices have jumped up dramatically. So buying his cards today versus 2 years ago, major difference. I remember his flawless auto, maybe 500 or $1,000. Now it's going for, I don't know, crazy money, like 30x, 25x. So I think a lot of people missed that. I remember seeing 10 of them on eBay,
Jesus.
500, 1,000. And I was like, why would I buy this? I don't collect Pele. Nobody thought that the card would 25x, because the card is an insane amount of money right now to find a Pele flawless.
But flawless in general is going up quite a lot, right?
Yeah, very much. Yeah, very much. But all of his rookies are pretty much unattainable. I think you could still find a decent amount of his pre-modern-esque, right? Vintage. I guess not pre-modern, vintage. It would be vintage. You could still find a lot of his vintage cards. I guess lower quality.
And even rookies.
A good amount of money.
Rookies, I guess the cheapest hook you can find for Pelé is probably like 2K. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less.
Okay. That's still a decent price. That's
but
have the history.
But at the end of the day, will still be probably the worst option, So if you went, for example, Alifa, which is the most, I would say, basically the main rookie card for Pelé, a PSA 1, I believe, is 20K. So yeah, the entry point is already quite difficult. And to add into the Maradona conversation, I actually shared this a couple of times already on my YouTube. I was looking at all the graded cards for the GOATs, and Messi is the one that have the most graded cards. Then Pelé, I'm talking more at PSA the PSA Pop report, not counting all the other grading companies, but at the end of the day, I think most people nowadays use PSA. So, and Pelé had around 1K to 1.5K in terms of rookie cards graded. Cristiano Ronaldo had 800, which I thought was quite low, honestly. But to be fair, Cristiano Ronaldo only have two rookies. Maradona was like 200, 300. So even in terms of the rookie material, is the one that have less graded. Is the one that is actually more difficult to find graded right now on the market. So I also think Maradona is a clear buy for me, of course, if I look at all the other four GOATs. Even though, again, I actually prefer to collect Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo more because are the players I saw, versus Maradona and Pelé. But in terms of just investing, and of course, no financial advice, I actually think that Maradona there is more opportunity on the Maradona market than all the other three guys, honestly.
I agree with that. I think Maradona prices are at a level at which people could actually afford to still buy them.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it's all about psychology. Do people want to buy Maradona?
Okay.
And I don't know if that's an actual the general population of soccer.
But that's an interesting point, because when you look at pre-modern, and I'm talking Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, one thing that they have that is super strong is demographics. People remember them, they are still playing, and they will still be relevant in the next 10, 20 years, because people will remember these guys. Maradona, there is a lot of people like me and you that never saw Maradona play. Same goes for Pelé. And other thing that I would say, even to add into the conversation, is Pelé and Maradona is actually similar to Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, in the sense that there is a premium for Pelé versus for Maradona. So people in the vintage market, the Pelé market is much stronger than the Maradona one. Do I think that makes a lot of sense? Honestly, no, because I think they should be much closer. But that's the reality right now we have in the market. Same with Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. Like you said, seems like Messi cards are getting quite more expensive than Cristiano Ronaldo. If you want to buy a Prism, I don't know, a crazy low numbered one, you probably pay more for the Messi than you pay for
sure
the Cristiano Ronaldo, and that also happens with Maradona versus Pelé. So again, maybe as a value investor, you think, actually, I find more value on Cristiano Ronaldo and on Maradona because I think they should be much closer to their rivals, if that makes sense. And at the end of the day, I don't know the answer for sure, but in the case of Maradona, I actually think Maradona is probably the GOAT that feels more underappreciated, better saying.
Oh, 100%. I think he, as an American, I could speak as an American, I guess. When I learned about Maradona, I learned about the negative side of him, maybe before the positive side of him.
Yeah.
So I always learned about the drug testing in the World Cup, how he got caught. And I think that was always, like they say, the first impression is the last impression. So a lot of the things that I learned about Maradona weren't the best as far as his life goes. And regardless of what he did on the pitch, it doesn't matter to me because what I learned about Maradona was that he was a drug abuser. Um, Basically, he wasn't the best. He didn't live the best lifestyle, and that has nothing to do about him being on the pitch and performing as the greatest player of all time in some people's eyes. But I think the psychology behind collecting somebody, you have to take in the overall,
No, for
you
sure.
know, and like somebody like whoever that Greenwood, Mason Greenwood, right?
That-
Everybody loved Mason Greenwood, but he did something unimaginable. His card price isn't done. I mean, he's never going to step foot on the pitch anyway. But let's just say he was to do something, and that's it. He's done. Like so, it does take more than what you do on the field to collect a player. And I think what Maradona did off the field kind of hurts his card prices because not a lot of people even like the person that they saw, they learned about. They don't like him as much. Pele never did anything wrong, at least not in public, right? Maradona did. Maradona did. And in a way, I think that hurts the population of soccer collectors would stay away from him because they have that negative thought in their mind where Messi and Ronaldo, it's all positive what they do on the field, what they do off the field. A lot of people want to be Ronaldo off the field.
But John,
So
I would disagree with you a little bit on that, just for one thing. Not disagreeing is probably even a strong word. It's just I think you make good points, but I think let's focus on these four guys. All of them have made bad things in the past. Let's be real. I mean, there was allegations for Cristiano Ronaldo, tax fraud for Messi, also tax fraud for Cristiano Ronaldo. Pele, if you look at his history, is not as great as people think. The Maradona one was more
I
on the
don't know a
media.
bad thing about Pele.
Pele
I've
has
never, maybe because I've never searched, I've never looked around. But if you could tell, I mean,
no, yeah,
as
no.
far as I've never heard a bad thing said about Pele.
For example, even recently, Pele had to make another DNA test because seems like there is another kid. So what I'm trying to say
Yeah.
is, and at the end of the day, I would be honest with you, I don't even care that much. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if you look real deep into all of maybe Maradona is the worst, but all the others are not gods in that sense, But
Okay. Yeah.
one thing that
Saints. They're not saints.
not saints, basically.
Yeah.
One thing that I always have in mind, and this is me, I'm fine if people disagree with me on this. I care about what they do on the pitch. I know some people will hardly, but they are idols for kids, etc. Look, it's not my personality. If Maradona was really good on the pitch, that's how I like to remember him. There is actually a quote in Argentina that they say this. Basically is no matter what you did with your life, Diego, in this case Maradona, matters what you did for our life. And I actually look at things that way. I mean, Maradona ended up inspiring a generation in Argentina. Maradona political views, again, I know a lot of people disagree, but there is also a lot of people that admire that he was a big fan of Che Guevara, a big fan of Fidel Castro. And again, a lot of
That's
people,
crazy to me to find that information out.
yeah, but a lot of people hate that. I don't even, oh, I hate the left, I hate stuff like, but some people love it, and especially in poor countries, this idea of um, the people have the power, we need to change the system. Maradona was a lot of that, even in terms of football. And Maradona honestly was correct in a lot of things. Maradona was one of the first guys calling out FIFA. He said Blatter and Platini, all of those guys are really bad people. At the time, people thought, oh, Maradona is crazy. Actually, years later,
He was right.
Maradona was kind of right, So again, there is a lot of things to love about Maradona personality and a lot of things to may not like. But in terms of a player, do not get much better than him,
Of course not.
And that's why. And look, let's say there is some scandal with Messi, because that can happen. That's the reality for me. And I'm being honest with you, unless it's something that is so bad that you kind of need to really rethink. But look, again, the example of tax fraud. Maybe people disagree. I don't care that much. I think
Yeah,
probably most players are doing that
from
also.
from what I heard, because I work with a lot of Spaniards, is that they kind of do it on purpose
Mm.
and they don't pay their taxes. And then when they get caught, they pay a fine. Instead of paying the taxes that are owed, they just pay a fine. So if they owe $40 million in taxes, they pay a $10-15 million fine.
That's
So
much
they'll end
better.
up paying less. So I'm not saying that's 100% accurate, but I heard that that's basically what they do. They don't pay their taxes. They get, charged with tax fraud. They don't go to court. They settle out of court. They pay the 30%
Oh, could be
of
that.
what they would, and then they end up just saving money that way. So there's a lot of tax fraud going on in Spain. What do I know? But that's
Yeah.
basically the rumor that I heard about.
No, for sure. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just we are talking for fun.
yeah.
We
But
at the end
what
of
you
the
were
day,
saying about,
complex topic.
of course, and what were you saying about personality, what you do on the pitch, what you do off the pitch? If this was a soccer channel, we can talk about just what they do on the field. But this is a soccer card channel, and people invest their
Good
their
point.
money
Good point.
into something. Whether it's, I'm not an investor. I hope my cards go up. If they do, that's great. If they don't, that's fine too. I hope they don't crash, because that would suck. But I hope they kind of stay around the price that I bought them for, and that's fine, But if people are putting their money into something, they want it to be in as secure of a place as possible. And I think, when I say buy Maradona, I think his prices are very cheap compared to Pele. As far as I would say sell Ronaldo, because I think Ronaldo's market is just had way too many cards. I mean, the recent, I think Impeccable came out with more Manchester United autos. And when they first came out, I was like, oh, awesome, Manchester United autos. I've never seen those before. And then they came out again, and another year, and another year. And it's like, oh, this is the 4th edition of Manchester United autos of Ronaldo. What card is even special out of the whole bunch,
Yeah, but
So how could it possibly continue to stay at that price point or go higher if they just keep on producing more and more and more? It's kind of like printing money. Like eventually everybody's going to have a Ronaldo auto. Nobody's going to want to buy any more new ones, So basically, as far as Maradona goes, I think his autos, I don't know how many sticker autos Panini has left, but it seems like they still have quite a few more. But his on-card stuff is special. I would love to buy an on-card auto of his. After doing my research before this podcast, I would definitely buy one now based on what I've seen him do on the field. And it's kind of taken away from his
they seem
negativity
really
that
difficult.
I have. The on-card?
Yeah, on-card seems really scarce. So
I mean, I'm sure whoever's selling it is not going to be selling it for cheap anyway. So if I was a Ronaldo,
let me say one thing. Actually, a little bit out of this topic, but related with the autographs, etc. Man, one thing that people will realize, and I know this is another take that some people may not like what I'm about to say, but I think autographs are really, really overrated, honestly. I think especially the on cards, maybe they are actually, they could even potentially be undervalued if you look the prices versus the stickers, etc. Oh man, but players are signing more than ever. So for a
Oh
long
yeah.
time, autos in cards for soccer, even stickers, is impossible to find because soccer was not even a market. But in the
Mhm.
next 2, 3, 5, 10 years, oh man, a lot of stuff will lead the market. Cristiano Ronaldo have autos in any product you can imagine. Messi,
Everywhere.
Messi, same thing. So I mean, I think autos. That's why when people and it's fair to say that's not my market. Is I'm more a vintage guy. Totally fair to make that argument against me. But I would say one thing: even if you want to enter the autograph market, etc., focus in especially just because a card have an auto does not make that card special, in my opinion. Focus on cards that, first of all, the card is special. Then there is an auto that makes even more special. At least is the way that I look at things. I mean, flawless, very expensive, but is a very important set. Is iconic set. I love that. Topps Chrome, the red Messi with autograph. I think that's
Mhm.
an important card for Messi. It's the first Topps Chrome. It's the first time he ended up signing for Topps Chrome. So people just, and there is so again, maybe it's a shot. Top Stadium that got released recently, or Topps Merlin. Honestly, I don't care about the Messi out on that set. I think it's a cool item as a collector, don't get me wrong. But if you are an investor, I don't even think that's a great buy, honestly, because what makes that card that special is not the first Top Stadium, is not even the first year for Topps Merlin. So I don't see great things related that can, again, if the market grows, everything can grow, and in that case fundamentals are out of the window, especially
Mhm.
if we see some type of mania that, like we saw in 2020, that everything went up. That can happen, and what I'm saying could be totally wrong. But if the market stays flat, and actually goes into the other question that you seem very cautious about the state of the market, that you actually believe that we can go in a downtrend, and I would love to know your thoughts on that a little bit
Mhm.
deep. But I think the autograph market it can go into that logic. I mean, autographs that are parts of sets that have no lineage, no collectors for those sets, just because it's a Messi auto. Well, again, 100% that there will always be some value because of that. But there is a scenario that if you pay a premium for that, you can regret in the future.
I think the ultra modern Messi autographs that you see coming out today are just going to be a dime a dozen, as they say. I think they're just going to be just out there, unimportant autos, as crazy as that sounds. I think they're just going to be basically exchanging hands, or maybe somebody like a collector would just love to have one autograph of Messi and find that $800 or $1,000 auto, and he sees it, even if it's a sticker, and just he has that one. Maybe it's somebody who's not a huge collector, doesn't have a lot of money, and doesn't want to spend $3,000-4,000 on a Messi auto. He has that lower end autograph. So I think it's good to have these lower end autos out there, because not everybody is able to afford a
No,
$5,000 auto of Messi. So I think in a way it does have its place.
no, great
I think the
point.
more collectors there are, the better for these lower end autographs, I guess.
No, no, you are completely correct on that. And again,
Mhm.
a new kid entering the hobby cannot buy a Top Scrum Red Messi
Exactly.
auto,
Yeah,
or even any auto on Top Scrum 2017, because those cars are super expensive. I
super
totally
high.
totally agree with you. But again, if the market keeps correcting, and this can very well happen in the next 2 3 years. I mean, we know that we are kind of in a recession already, so things can
Mhm.
get really bad in the short midterm, no doubt about that. And that's the stuff. Look, people that are buying the flawless stuff, the prism, and actually, no, you have a couple of Messi's prisms. I'm not talking about autos, but cars that are super iconic. I'm not afraid of you, in the sense that I think you will be fine. Honestly, I think maybe. Well, can I tell you that next month your cars are down or not? No, and if the market keeps going down, there is the most likely scenario will be that your cars are down. But I think long term you are totally fine. A lot of product nowadays, and Messi, to be fair, is not even the best example because the Messi market is a special market no matter what, since he's one of the players with the most collectors. But even if you go to these new kids that people are speculating, Pedri have so many rookies, Bellingham have
Hmm.
so many rookies. Look, I love I not I would love probably strong, but I like to watch Barcelona because the only team I love is Benfica. That is my in my country. But I like to watch Barcelona, and of course, I mean, I'm no different than the other people. I also think Pedri seems like a great player. Could remembers me Iniesta. Could be the next big guys. Who knows? This is possible, of course. And I would love to have a rookie card for him. That I would think, okay, like you said, I don't even want to make money with the card. I just be
Hmm.
okay if at least I'm not paying 1K for the rookie, and 1 year from now is $100, and because
It's yeah,
that can actually happen. So,
yeah.
what I would want is I would love to understand what is the set I need to buy because people tell me, oh no, buy top scrum and you are fine. Then there is people that tell me, no, 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 you need to buy the prism cards that will become for. And there is other people, no, no, you need to buy a patch out of Topps museum, something like that. So
Hmm.
even if you want to invest in all of this new,
Not player associated, by the way.
yeah,
These crazy writings in the back, they confuse you so much, so they kind of
and
you don't know what you got.
that's another thing that I don't understand. Why even put a patch if he's not player associated? I don't even get
And
that.
and we all fall for it too. We all
Yeah,
fall for it. We all know it, but you see that patch and you just think it's something special.
and people
And
pay a premium
meanwhile,
still.
it's insane. And I get suckered into doing that sometimes. And I'm like, but it's a patch. And then you look not, player worn, and you just think, is it possible that he wore? And it's just it's the whole psychology behind sports cards, man.
Yeah.
I wish we had a a real psychologist also that's into sports cards, start a channel and just talk about the psychology of sports cards because I think that would be huge. Um, the psychology of sports cards, I think it would be a great path to take.
No, yeah, and just let me just finish this. For in the case of Pedri, I don't even know what rookie card I should be buying for him. That's
True.
and
Yeah,
and
I've heard you say
that's
that many times.
I mean, and I've you may have an opinion. I may have an opinion, but I can guarantee that other people will watch it and say, no, 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 that's not the card for Pedri. So, and for Messi, let's be real. You know what card you need to buy if you want to enter the Messi rookie market. Messi Everon B is the most popular card for Messi. Then you have the other 7 rookies that the market also accepts very well. So, and when people ask me, oh, why you like rookies so much? Honestly, for Messi, it's quite easy because the more cards they make for Messi, the more the rookies become. Because those will always be the first cards ever made
That
for Messi. So,
perfect way to look at it. Yeah.
you know,
And
and and so sorry, even the
no,
top scrum, because we ended up talking a little bit about top scrum. The top scrums 2017, again, I say this multiple times, not my market. But the more modern sets, the more top scrum comes to the market, more special the first release becomes. Because
mhm.
we'll always be the first, basically. And being the first, like you said, is a lot of there is some psychology around this, oh, this was the first release, this was the first prism, the first top scrum. We want things that are relevant and end up being first for certain player, for certain set, etc.
I think I I I think that the Prism has kind of been forgotten about, the 2014 Prism, I mean, because they don't really make them as much, and you don't really, and maybe that's a good thing for long term,
That's
and
another
maybe that's a
point, yeah.
bad thing. That's a bad thing for Topps Chrome because I started buying some Topps Chrome 2018, 19, 20, only because I like to have, let's just say, I kind of get suckered into buying these cards in a way. As much as, I want to buy everything that's associated with Messi. I want to make my PSA registry, which number 4 in. I
Congrats
want
again.
to try to get, thank you. I was number 2, and then my friend Will just took first place with he's at like 46% right now. And so I'm big into the PSA registry. So anything that I see associated with Messi and PSA that I don't have, even if the card is unimportant, sometimes I still buy it just to put in my collection because it's still a part of his masterpiece of,
John,
of everything that I need.
and that's amazing because you are a
Mhm.
collector, you said I'm not an investor, I'm a collector, and I admire that a lot. Again, to be fair, we all try to make good purchases at the end of the day because money is money, but
Of course, yeah.
I love, because I also buy certain cards for Messi, for Cristiano Ronaldo, that I think, man, this is not even that great of a buy, but
Not that smart of me.
I don't have this in my collection, and I would be fine having this. So I honestly admire that a lot, honestly.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think what I did, what I'm glad I did, it's not only what I did, but I'm glad I did it, is for about 1 year, I didn't buy any modern cards. I focused primarily on pre-modern. So I have every single one of his rookies. I upgraded. I sold some. I upgraded to PSA
John,
nines.
if you have cards with you, and if you can show, it will be great,
I actually have some, yeah. I don't have his rookies because I figured if you want to go see a rookie, everybody knows his rookie card. Everybody sees his Campione, Campio. I mean, there's on um so many on eBay. So you just grab some. So I'm gonna start with, and I'm glad I found this one. This is the first one that we can talk about because I want to talk to you about what is his true rookie now that we're on that topic. Because I think it's a difficult thing to a difficult question to answer. Obviously, it's the 71 best because that is what everybody agrees on. And if everybody agrees on, then that's his true rookie. The same thing goes with Mickey Mantle. What's his rookie? I think a lot of people would say the 52, and some people would say 51 Bowman because the 51 Bowman came out before the 52 tops. So what is his true rookie? Why is the 52 tops worth more than the 51 Bowman? The psychology behind the card is the only reason, because in any other person, the first card that comes out, like Pedri, has like 7 cards come out in the same year. So it's very difficult to pinpoint what's going to be his true rookie at the end of the year, at the end of the day.
No, Pedri, a crazy amount.
Exactly. So
So
in my opinion,
okay.
not because I think his 71 best is his true rookie. But where
When
did
you
I
say
put
true
it?
rookie, I like to put this way: is the main rookie, the
The main
true.
rookie.
Because if you say true, seems like the others are no are fakes or
Well,
something.
you know what I also like to say that you said it like that. Can you say that Mantle has 2 rookies, a Bowman, which is one product, and a Tops, which is another product?
John, but correct me because you probably know more than me even on this one. I think the reason the 52 mental is so expensive is because it's actually the first top set for baseball. So that's if you think about that, that's historical. Even if the 51
Yeah.
is 1 year earlier, I also understand why people. And by the way, the photo is amazing. There is a lot of things to be fair, but I think the set being so iconic for baseball makes that card more desirable for Mickey Mantle, basically.
Yeah. I mean, there's the lineage behind the
The
Tops
lineage.
product that I think helps the cause. But when you say rookie, he was from 51 and 52. Well, the same thing goes with Jordan, the 86 Flair.
Exactly.
It is not his rookie. It just the product came out in '86, which I
John,
think Jordan was playing for a couple of years already.
Pelé Alifa Bolojet, the most famous card for Pelé, is not his rookie. Pelé actually have cards on 57 that are very
Wow.
difficult to find, by the way.
Hmm.
But when we talk about this type of market, especially vintage, to be honest, I think we, instead of rookie, we need to start saying rookie material. You know that it's not this is the rookie version. No, all of them are kind of rookie material. Are still super early in his career. I think that's a little bit more fair. Messi, I agree, is a bit different because you actually know all of them are 2004, 2004,
Hmm.
2005 season. I think the Messi Everon Bees is the main rookie for one reason, especially because there is more history around that card. Collectors have been chasing that card for longer than the others, so there is almost a lore about the card. People recognize the card much more than they recognize the other rookies. I also think Mega Cracks in terms of product is better than the other ones. You know, but Mega Cracks
Of
was
course, yeah.
was almost a premium set in Spain, so there is that. And this is something that people may not know. The Mega Cracks 7 on Bs was actually released in 2004. And for example, the Barça Campeón cards end up getting released in 2005. They are still for the season 2004 2005. But if we want to go with this logic through rookie, the 2004 cards are a little bit more real in that sense because they are actually
Yeah.
2004. So there is a lot of things in the plate, if that makes sense. But I love all rookies for Lionel Messi, being honest with you. I also think in terms of picture, the 7 on base is the one I may like the most, but even that I may change my opinion weekly, you know. So
The 71 bis is never going to lose its, you know, the number one rookie
he's
to own.
magic, you know. He's almost a magic card in
It's
the hobby at
never
this point.
going to it's never going to lose people are never going to lose a desire to want to buy that card. As much as it hurts for me to say this, I actually sold mine at the National because I think it was time to let it go
Okay.
to take that money and into other cards. And I'm guessing, everything is a guess, that the the market for that card is going to continue to go down. And I think there's going to be a better buying opportunity, which it's funny, I just used that term because that term is going to come up later. There's going to be a better buying opportunity later on in the future for a better grade for a cheaper price. That's how I feel. Yeah.
Totally fair, honestly. I also
Mhm.
sold a couple last year. I bought one, let's say 3 4 months ago. So look, at the end of the day, we are collectors. We always want to upgrade our stuff to have a decent because even as a collector you need sometimes decent AZ points. I mean, okay, I'm this is the time to actually move this card. Maybe in 1 year I look back because I do that all the time, and I don't think there is anything wrong with that, honestly.
For me to be able to sell a card, I have to be able to find it again. So I would never sell a short print card. I would never sell something that would hurt to have to be able to find what, like I would never it would be difficult for me to sell a card. But when it comes to the Messi 71 bis, there's a lot of them. Low grade,
It's
high
available.
grade. It's available anytime I want if I just need the money to buy it. So that's as simple as that sounds. You just need money to buy it. It's not impossible to find. Some other cards are impossible to find and might not be as expensive. And those are the cards you don't want to let go. The ones that are very, very rare. They might not be popular, but as far as me having them in my collection, I don't want to lose the opportunity to not be able to buy this card again.
For
And
sure.
that's one of the reasons why I was able to get rid of the 71 bis without feeling that pressure of, am I ever going to own this card again? And I told myself, of course, you're going to own this card again. It's the Messi 71 bis. I don't think it's going to skyrocket up like it did in 2021. I think it hasn't even leveled out as far as I'm concerned from the top. It's still continuing a downward, you know, the projection is still going down little by little by little. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people own mid to low grades, and they're probably happy just owning the card, and that's great. I think a lot of people that bought those higher grades for really exorbitant prices might be regretting doing so. You know, they were buying PSA 9s for $75,000, which is, I mean, now it's probably in the $20,000 range.
No, I
So
don't know. I don't know exactly, but yeah, it's down
it's
a lot.
roughly around, it's down a lot. And I'm glad I got in earlier than the average investor did. And I was able to get out of it with not losing anything. I still made some money, and I sold it kind of low, below average and what the cost was now.
Yeah.
So so some of these cards I'm about to show you, they're not very rare, but you know, they're special to me. One of the questions I was asking you before about what a true rookie is, because I have the
The chroma.
Monday Chromo, which is in PSA's term, or PSA website, is the first Messi card. So one of the great things PSA is they show you the actual, maybe not the years, but the timeline. So this one was his first printed card, and I know this is in his Barcelona B uniform, so it might not necessarily be the most
but
wanted card.
okay, let me say one thing, and this will be kind of shocking news for a lot of people, even for you probably. I'm working in a video that I will show the timeline of Messi rookies, and that's
Okay.
not, and that's the Mundi Chromo. By the way, I made a video 1 year ago that I also believed that was the first card for Messi. It's not actually the first card.
Interesting.
So, and by the way, this is something that I'm working on. So I will give a bit of a spoiler for the people watching until now. The first card ever made for Lionel Messi was the Esta sticker. Then was
Really?
Wow. Then was Mega Cracks, and then I think that could be the third. But I'm still working on this to be fair.
Wow.
When we stop recording, I actually can send you why I think is that. I just don't want to spoil with the viewers because I'm still working. You know, I also don't want to put wrong information. So take everything I'm saying right now with a grain of salt. But I actually think that's not the first card, but it's a super important card, no matter what.
I'm going to show you another card. I used to laugh every time you would speak about this card. This is one of the cards. This is one of my favorite cards, only because it's just the way you used to speak about it was it wasn't very kind. You're not very kind to this card. I'll tell you the truth. The reason why I love this card is because of the condition that it's in. I mean, it's a PSA 9, it's a Pop 5, and it's not the best image of Messi. But you know, you want to talk about Messi fighting his drive when he has that ball at his feet.
Oh, he's the second year Messi, Mega Cracks,
second year Messi, but it's a PSA 9. And
you know,
it's a very, very tough card to own in a PSA 9.
You know, one thing that
it's Pop 5.
No, and he's a great card. I mean, congrats. One thing that I like,
it's a funny looking card.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that I like about that card is the player on his back is Patrick Vieira, which is another legend. So I actually kind of like that you have, okay, is the most important
two legends
is Messi, but the Patrick Vieira was also a legendary player, and I just don't like the face of Messi.
I know. Well, you know what's funny about the face is he's trying really, really hard. Let me see if you could get that in focus.
Yeah, but maybe come on, Panini.
But anyway,
100% had better photos.
It's the lineage of the card is still special, considering that it's a second-year Messi. There's no other second-year Messi's, correct? I mean, he has obviously his Mundo Chromo, second-year Messi, but
there is two Mundi Chromos. The Estes, basically.
I don't know why I said that. I basically have all his 2005 cards. I didn't mean it like that. But I meant Mega Crack.
No, like Mega Crack.
There's only one. Yeah. In 2006, he has like 3 different cards
because they start creating inserts for Lionel Messi, basically. Because
so I have the
Lionel
inserts.
Messi, the second year card that I like the most is between that one. In terms of lineage, that's the best one, and I think that will be the most expensive card for Lionel Messi's second year. But there is also, I'm not sure if you have that or not, a second year Mundi Chrome card is a green card that have a lot, is almost, seems almost a Kaboom card. I'm not sure if you know the card I'm talking about.
Are you talking about the foil?
The foil,
there's
yeah.
Foil, and yeah, I have that in PSA 8.
Yeah, I love that card.
The PSA 9 is very difficult. PSA 9 is very difficult. I have it in an 8. There's a regular and then a foil, yeah.
Yes, my top grade is also an 8. So.
Yeah, it's not an easy card to own in a 9. It's very, very tough to find.
Yeah.
But that you could find that card very easily on eBay. But the fact that it's in good condition is very, very difficult.
It's condition rarity for sure.
Yeah, that's the top. I think it's top Liga.
Top Liga.
No, the top.
No,
top Liga, right?
It's top Liga. You're correct.
It is top Liga.
Liga.
Okay. Yeah. So this is another cool card. It's a 2006. It kind of reminds me of that Maradona rookie.
Oh.
This is in a PSA 9. This is a special looking card. It's not.
Oh, that's a cool one. I don't
have you ever seen this before?
I have seen that, but I don't want it.
I don't want it.
No.
You know
I don't have one. I'm sorry. I don't see. I don't want it. I don't have one. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, you don't have one. Okay.
But these
it's
are
okay
really
if you don't
cool
want
card.
it. That's fine. Yeah. So this is a cool looking card. It kind of reminds you of like the Pog, and it's from 2006. And it's Panini, and it's a really good condition. It's not like a special card, but it's just something cool to own.
No, it's really cool.
This is my favorite card. It's not the most expensive card, but it's my favorite card to own. I love the blue prism.
Come on, that's a beautiful.
Oh, you know what? This is the problem with eBay. eBay puts the sticker on so you can't take it off. So I just leave it on there. So the 2014. Yeah, if you get authenticity, they put the sticker on the back, and if you rip it off, then it becomes.
It
doesn't become.
It's short printed, right? To
55.
55 exactly. No, that's an insane card. I mean,
insane card.
I also love that, especially because the blue
pulsar
around looks amazing on the card. I really like
matches
that one.
Better. It matches better with the blue out of 199.
You have two, right?
I have two. One is at PW. I love this card so much that I had to buy a second one, and I don't really do that. But when it comes to this card, and it's a pop 10, when I saw it again, I said, you know what? I'm gonna buy it. Buy it twice.
That card I would love to have one in the future. But it's so expensive, probably.
It's not cheap.
Yeah.
But it's one of those cards where I say to myself, it's a pop 10. Am I going to see it for sale again? Maybe. But I don't want to lose the opportunity to have a second one. While we're on the blue pulsar, I'm going to show you some Italian players that I love. So these are the blue pulsar.
Beautiful cards, man. Congrats.
Now, these two together.
I love Pirlo and Buffon.
You cannot, I mean, you got the two goats of Italy, and they're both blue pulsar. One's a PSA 10 and one's a PSA 9, but they basically look the same. And the fact that they're together, it just completes the puzzle, So this is a beautiful combo right here. I love the fact that I'm holding these two together, in the same place, same time is amazing for me.
No, again, congrats, because these type of cards are really difficult to find, and Buffon and Pirlo do not get much better than that if you love Italy. So
if you love Italy,
and by the way, Buffon is probably the best goalkeeper ever. So.
Best goalkeeper ever. I think Neuer has.
Neuer ever.
He doesn't have he has a World Cup. Buffon has a World Cup.
The thing with Neuer, John, is Neuer is still playing. So imagine if Germany wins again. There is still a chance for Neuer, but for now, I'm still putting Buffon at the best player ever.
Of course, best goalkeeper ever for sure. And I feel so bad for Ter Stegen, to be really honest, because I think Ter Stegen's an incredible goalie, but he's just never had a chance to be anything for his national team, which is kind of sad,
He's
never had that opportunity.
But Buffon,
he's world class for sure. No, he's not even close to Neuer. But what I'm saying is, He is world class.
No, yeah,
Ter Stegen.
he's one of the best.
Um,
No doubt.
yeah. So I'll just go with. I was telling you before about how I love to match Ronaldo and Messi. So I bought these both flawless cards, and to see these two together, I mean, they're both diamond.
Yeah.
Not that that means anything, but they both have the out of 20, which is special, and the images is just incredible. I mean, they don't make cards like this anymore. To
Do,
see that both
do you like more
players.
do you like more Messi with Argentina or with Barcelona?
Oh, Barcelona. No, no, man. No. Now that you said that, I've been searching for this card for a very, very long time. Years. I've been waiting for this card to pop up. And I saw it on an Instagram story from Empire Sports Cards. He's from New York also. And one of the cards where I had to have it. So I ended up buying this.
Okay.
Which
Another
is the
flawless.
match for this. So now these are the two cards that came out in 2016. So you have the Argentina and the Barcelona version. So this is I don't know if they had card numbers on the side. Oh yeah. So this is number 15 in the set, and this is number 40. So these two together, for me, very, very special. Because you have both the Argentina kit and the Barcelona kit from 2016. So I've had this one
amazing stuff
for many years.
Yeah.
I've had this one for many years, and now I'm able to connect it with this. And to be honest, this used to be the reason why I owned the Ronaldo. So now I'm thinking about maybe
selling that,
releasing this, because I have the better match between both Messis.
No, sure.
These I just acquired, not major, but I still love the look of the zebra. So I bought the I think this would be a step below, but it's still awesome to have both zebras out of 25 in select.
Still crazy difficult cards to find.
Still crazy difficult. Well, this one's for sale on eBay. This one you don't really see too often.
I actually like.
I was able to buy both.
I like the 2018 more than the 2017. I like, I don't know, original
the Prism
cards. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this is select. The Prism. I love the Messi with you know, he has the beard. You know, that's a different look for him. He's a little bit older, more mature looking. You know,
yeah, for sure.
This one, this is my most expensive card. This is I said that the blue Pulsar was my favorite because it is, and this is also one of my favorites. But as far as a card goes, just a pure card, I think the 2014 blue Pulsar is better. But there is something to say about this, where you are not going to find this card. Well, actually, you're not going to find this card in this condition anywhere. It's only a pop 2.
Hey, again, congrats.
There's no, thank you. There's no PSA 9. There's no PSA 10. It's a 9.5. It's Messi, the center of the card.
I love. I mean, great looking card.
I think it's backwards according to, I mean, on my end it looks backwards, the auto, but
let me see one thing.
Gold auto, gold ink.
A lot of people because I get this comment a lot of time, they think I hate modern. No, that's not. For example, I love the stuff you are showing to me, and the only thing I don't like about modern is more even related with prospecting, stuff like that, because even for the Messi market, for the Cristiano Ronaldo market, there is a lot of great cards to buy, and with historical relevance, like the Prism, the Top Chrome, the Noir, etc.
So just to give you a little perspective, a card like this, I don't know what you would estimate the card value of this at, but let me ask you, what would you think, just based on, just throw it out there. If somebody came up to you and said, how much do you think this card is worth, Andre? You're an expert in the soccer card market.
Oh, but the problem is modern is not my my
Oh,
area
okay, that's
of
fine.
but tell me one thing, is numbered out of
This one, there's a gold, I think a platinum out of 10. This one is out of 40.
okay.
This one is out of 40. So I bought this before the boom, let's just say. So whatever I bought this for is kind of irrelevant in today's market. Well, it's not irrelevant, but um, you would never think to buy this card for the price that I bought it. Let's just say whatever the price I bought it for. Because it's nowhere near that price today. And to think that whatever I bought this card for, it's not like a low number. It wasn't like $500. It was still a couple of thousand. But I think 1,000 people would want to buy it right now for the price that I bought that card for. Let's just say.
John, in China, that type of card is exploding, and they are
Yeah.
paying top dollar for especially on card autos for Lionel Messi, and Noir is one of the set that has been doing the best. Is Noir, Flawless, Eminence, all of that stuff. So that's a grail card, honestly.
Oh, for sure. And like I said, it's as far as an actual card goes, the Blue Prism is something a little bit more eye appeal. It has more eye appeal to me. But this, you know, how could you compare both? Which one do you like better? Of course, this one is going to look and be maybe appreciated or more wanted more, but there's something about this card that just gets me more than
I like the
card.
Prism more, to be honest with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
For one reason, is a card that you see, not this card in particular, but the base card you see everywhere, and you have a rare version of such iconic card that's special. You know, it is a more iconic card. I don't think that's even debatable. To be fair, not saying the Noir is also amazing, but it's a card that you don't see every day. It's a card that some people may not even, okay, what's going on? Why is this card so special? The Prism card, everyone knows why is special. Is the first Prism is a short print version, so it's a beautiful card. And even the design actually like a little bit more, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, the design is beautiful, and
I
the
love
mojo
the foil.
is nice.
That foil is
mojo.
beautiful. Yeah, no, for sure.
So this is one of the cards I love. It's a cracked ice. It's a PSA 8, but there's no PSA 9, no PSA 10. It's a Black Friday card. A lot of people don't appreciate these Black Friday, and it's an actual that Blue Prism is a national card. Yeah. It's not even from a pack.
No, yeah,
but it's still
I'm
a beautiful card. So I don't know how this is going to look. The fact that actually looks pretty good in there. Now, what I love about this card, the fact that Messi is celebrating in this way, just it makes the card special. You know, like you could look at a picture of Messi celebrating, but it doesn't really do much. But to have it on a baseball card, to have it on a soccer card, I'll call him a baseball card, to have it on a baseball card, right? Messi celebrating.
It's a great photo, no doubt.
It's a great photo. And the fact that it's cracked ice, it's out of 25. So I have this in an auto version. And I would sell the auto way before I sell this. I would never sell this card, ever. Ever.
Why?
Because I just won't. There's no reason why I won't sell it, because I'm a collector and I just don't sell. You know why? Like I said before, I'm never going to find this card again. Actually, I know where I can find this card raw, but that's not the point. But you don't see this card.
No, yeah.
And the fact that it's not on eBay you don't see 10 of them for sale.
No, for sure.
That's mainly, like I said before, that's one of the reasons why I would never sell. I got some pre-modern Messi. So this is one of my favorite.
Oh, I love that card.
I love this card. It's like a before and after. And it's a foil, which you can't really see too much in the video. And then this is one of my other
another beautiful card.
Beautiful card of Messi. Actually 2014 is when I started watching soccer. Believe it or not, like diving in head first, as they say, just becoming a soccer fanatic in 2014. So this is the first Messi that I ever saw. Really, this was the Messi.
The first Messi.
The first Messi that I ever saw. This is the first Messi, 2014. in this jersey is the first Messi
Oh,
that I watched.
okay, no, I get what you're
It's
trying
the
to say.
first Messi I ever watched. First
I,
Messi I ever watched.
I thought you said that was the first Messi card you ever saw. I was
Oh no
like,
no no no. Oh
that's
no no no.
that's a
It's the
bit random.
first the image of Messi, the 2014-2015 season was
Yeah,
the first time I started watching Barcelona as if, you know,
they won
uh,
Champions League, I believe, on that year,
they
2014.
won the treble 2014.
Yeah, so it's
They won
crazy.
the treble. And I was also playing FIFA for the first time. And I missed uh like a fanatic. I was missing a lot of dinners because was playing online and one more game. And I was playing with Messi, Neymar, and Suarez, and it was the greatest trio to ever exist.
That's a great trio.
The great trio. And what you said about what Maradona did for the people of
Argentina.
Argentina, not for what he did to himself, is kind of what they did for me. That trio made me fall in love with the game. And
That's beautiful.
ever since, yeah, and that trio, Messi, Neymar, Suarez, what they did, they played the game with love. They played together. They were best friends. It was almost like best friends playing pickup game, and the three of them were at the top and just passing and scoring and playing the most beautiful soccer probably anybody has ever seen.
That team was amazing. Messi was the man, to be fair, but that and related with that, I because I also missed that through quite a lot. It's crazy how underappreciated Suarez is in the hobby. Honestly,
Oh, yeah.
man, Suarez was one of the best strikers of this generation. He's a player, and maybe this I should not even say that. But I'm thinking about starting collecting Suarez because I think I can get almost everything, even the top cards for Suarez
Cheap.
are not super expensive, and he's a player that I think, in terms of greatness, I mean, Suarez was one of the best strikers in the last 20 years. So again, out of this topic with
Forget about
Messi,
best strikers, best players.
yeah, best
I
players,
mean, he's number
no
four
doubt.
in assists, all time.
Suarez
Yeah,
playing in the league with Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, and up winning the Golden Boot. So, I
I
mean,
know.
that's
I know.
insane. But people, maybe his personality, I don't know, is also
Well, the on field, I think a lot of people just don't like.
yeah.
He's like biting players on the field,
But
which is funny because
in terms of his quality, I mean, he's top tier basically.
top tier, top tier. He's like you
Crazy.
just said, he's the Golden Boot winner with Messi and Ronaldo being at the peak of their game.
He actually
Um,
he won one at Liverpool and one in Spain, which is crazy to think
I
about.
think history is going to be on his side. History will be on his side.
Agree. History and people getting more educated about the market. People recognize, oh, you know what, Suarez was the man. Is
When he leaves the game, I think people are going to look back and going to say, okay, what are some of the goats from the 2010 to 2020 era?
yeah, Suarez
He's going to be easily one of them.
Without a doubt. That I think there is more. I think Benzema probably right now, Lewandowski, Neymar, of course, Iniesta, but Suarez is with them. Okay, is something that people cannot. Even nowadays, we see a lot of people comparing who is the best, Benzema or Lewandowski. Oh man, people forgot about Suarez
They
because
forgot about
Suarez
Suarez.
should be on that talk. What is the best striker for this generation? If you say Suarez, I don't think you are wrong. I think you can make a great argument for Suarez. But again,
I would take Suarez over Lewandowski any
in
day.
in terms of quality, I agree with you. Honestly,
Yeah.
by the way, I think Lewandowski is also amazing, but. I guess people forget very quick about stuff.
Lewandowski is a cheaper version of Ronaldo, I believe. He's
uh,
just, I think he's very savvy, but I think he's just a pure number 9. And he makes, I'm sure he's got a ton of assists as well. But if I was playing a pickup game and I had to pick Suarez or Lewandowski first or second, I would easily pick
no
Suarez.
doubt.
And not because I'm just a Barcelona fan, but because of what he can bring total to the game.
Suarez prime, I also agree with you. I think was better than Lewandowski. The difference was at the time Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo also end up being at their prime. So that's one of the reasons Suarez never
I
ended up
saw a quote.
fighting.
I saw a quote that somebody said. It was the only thing that's bad in Cristiano Ronaldo's life is the fact that Messi exists. Because if it wasn't for Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo would be the king of kings. He would literally be the most unstoppable. But at the same time, he also says that because Messi exists, it brings him to another level.
And
So maybe we might not see as Ronaldo as great as he is.
And even same for Messi. I mean, even imagine if Cristiano Ronaldo does not exist. There is a chance that Messi is not this good, because I think the competition between them end up elevating both to the next level. So it's always so relative to say if Messi does not exist, if
nobody really knows.
Who knows, right? I think we are very likely to end up seeing both for so long,
And like I said earlier in the show, the fact that they were both able to stay healthy for so long made us witness their greatness.
No, for sure.
10, 15 years, Two cards I just want to show you, and that's it. This card is special to me because 2006, even though I didn't know anything about soccer, I still was there watching the World Cup game. And the reason why I look at Zidane and I could actually say I hate Zidane more than I've never watched him play soccer. I've only seen him play one game. And that one game was the 2006 World Cup. And he chipped Buffon. I had no idea about the history. So I'm watching this game. I don't even know what I'm looking at, basically, when I'm watching the 06 World Cup. And now that I look back and I rewatched the game, it's special to me because I could actually just watch it from my perspective today versus when in 2006, France scores first. And I'm like, so what does that mean? Like, how much time is left? Like, why is everybody so angry? So watching and this is the Prism. So this is the out of 25, the Mojo.
Oh, okay.
So this is the 2018. You don't see this card very often.
Yeah,
this card, this card is the Mojo version, which is out of 25, like I said, but there's a ton of these without the Mojo. So it's kind of like the national landmarks.
Okay.
Where you have the national landmarks, and then 2018, you get the national landmarks Messi, which is, if you ever watched the Mojo version of that national landmarks, that's a special card.
Yeah, I know.
Versus the base national landmarks, So this is the Mojo version of the 06 winning team. And I was fighting to buy this card off the seller for a long, long time, and he finally broke. And I ended up getting it. So that's one of the cards I had to really work on. And it's an 06 team. And it's a little bit special to me because of the players that I'm aware of. Whereas like the 82, I'm not really too aware of, who they were. But all these 06 players, from Pirlo, Cannavaro, Buffon, Totti, all those guys that I basically was aware of while I was watching the game in 2014. And this is another card that I love. This is
Cannavaro.
A booklet. Cannavaro and Buffon. And they're both in their 06. I have a few eminence Italian cards, but this is a booklet, basically sealed.
That's great.
This is a beautiful, if you hold this in your hand, Andre, like, you fall in love with the image of this card. The way the card is made, it's just perfect. The autos are perfect. They're both in their 06 uniforms.
Cannavaro won Ballon d'Or after World Cup.
That year. Yeah. And when I learned he was playing for Real Madrid, it was kind of like, oh, really? He was playing for Real Madrid? I was a little bit naive. So when I found that out, I was like, how is that possible?
His nickname, I'm not sure if you know this, was Pitbull because he never left.
Pitbull.
Yeah, the Pitbull.
He was, I heard he was a fantastic center back.
Was an amazing one.
Just to give people an idea, so this card, who knows I don't know how much this card is worth today. but
I have no idea.
but
But he's
I
a
bought
great
this in
card.
2018, right after Eminence came out, for $350 on eBay. So it just goes to show you what you could have done if you started collecting in 2017, 2018 versus
John,
starting in 2020.
if you want, I can give you a little bit more than that for the card. So you
Yeah.
make easy profit.
I'm gonna charge you like 500 for shipping because I don't know.
To
But
Portugal will be a lot. Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure. I tried to send something to UK and they wanted like $150. I said, thank
Jesus.
you. Yeah. So really quick, I'm gonna show you one more, and it's not a high grade, it's a white prism, but I think the 2016
Oh,
select is
wait a minute.
is an iconic card.
Wait a minute. Did you bought that from PWCC?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I went to
I was the
were you
seller.
the wow. Well, congratulations because I overpaid for it.
No, the reason I sold that was I was trying to buy other
Wait,
card.
so this is your card.
Yeah, that's my card. It's amazing that
Wow,
that
look at
happens.
that. How funny is that? I wasn't even going to show this card. I said, you know
Look,
what? Let me just throw it out there.
I love that card.
Yeah, I love it too.
The white prism on the 2016 set. I know people love the gold, but it's actually my favorite prism. I love it.
Wow.
I sold it because I had a vault, no, not a vault, I'm sorry, what is the name? A loan on PWCC that sometimes I do a loan to buy certain cars. Then I have cards selling and I pay PWCC. And at the time I had to pay my loan, and that was one of the cards that I ended up letting go just to make money to pay PWCC. But it's a card that I'm trying to find another raw. So
Yeah.
I love
Well,
that card.
listen, you know where it is. Anytime you want it back, you know,
I
just call me
actually
up and I'll.
It's funny that you even bring that card because I bought a Cristiano Ronaldo with that card. I bought both. I bought Cristiano Ronaldo white prism and Messi
Wow.
white prism. The Cristiano Ronaldo graded a 9.5, so was a little bit in better condition, but I love that card. How funny is that you end up showing him
That is
that
pretty
card?
crazy. I say I overpaid for that card because it's the PSA 9 on eBay went for about 600.
Yeah.
And I got beat right at the last, I got sniped, as they say. So when I saw it on PWCC, I said, you know what? I had to go to bed. I had to go to sleep. The thing ends at like 10:30, close to 11 o'clock in Eastern Standard Time. So I put in my max, and I was like, nobody's gonna bid up. I don't believe. Well, I woke up, I won, but I also won with
The max.
almost coming close to my max, which benefited you. But I think I overpaid a little bit for the card. But you know what? The fact that I have it, I'm happy with. And
I'm not saying this because was my card, but I really love that card. It's a card that I want to buy again, trying to find a raw in similar condition or something. But yeah, at the time I just had to sell because I had other things to pay on my account. But yeah, I missed that card, and I'm actually very happy that you are the person getting that because I know you appreciate.
oh, I do. Yeah, that's funny. That's pretty amazing that I wasn't going to show it.
No,
And out of the
that was the highlight. Honestly, it's
that really
crazy.
is, yeah. You should make this the thumbnail, like you
Yeah.
said,
No,
right there.
no, that will be the thumbnail.
Yeah, that's pretty
Um,
cool.
John, just to finish, and is basically the last topic, the unpopular opinion. I guess we can talk a bit about that, but I guess you also end up sharing your perspective quite well that you believe breakers are actually essential to the hobby and can also be a positive for the hobby. And by the way, I agree with that to a certain point. And you also end up talking about sports radio. Is a channel that I'm not super familiar. I'm aware because they also appear on my recommendations from time to time. But yeah, share a little bit more about why breakers, for example, because I think the breakers one is probably the take that people will be more curious. Because when you think about breaking, there is always the gambling stuff that people say, oh, that could be bad. But and you said that you in the past you also had experience with gamble, so I'm no different. I also gambled when I was a little bit younger. So try to share some light on the topic. Why you believe that breakers are so essential? Because you are correct to be fair.
Well, I think the most important thing that breakers do is they they open up the products that not a lot of people would be able to open up. So they take the cards out of the box, obviously, not just physically, but the fact that they rip the packages and they find these special cards that are going to hit the market that they probably wouldn't. Yes, would it be cheaper for people if there wasn't any breakers? Would it be cheaper for people to just buy the boxes themselves and rip? But what they do is they just open up massive amounts of cards, and those cards end up hitting the market one way or another. So I think it isn't important for breakers to break
Yeah.
because it makes the money circulate, number one. Number two, a lot of the cards that are in these packages, these special one-of-ones, would probably not come out until later on because a lot of people will be holding, or a lot of people might not be able to afford the amount of money that these boxes or cases cost. So you wouldn't see the cards that you would see today if it wasn't for breakers. You know, I saw a one-of-one Messi auto Galazzo recently from a breaker. Where was the case? Where was it sitting? Would it have ever been opened if it wasn't for a breaker? So a lot of these special cards that are in these packs wouldn't even see the light of day if it wasn't for breakers. Recently, like we spoke about earlier with Super Trout opening up the Topps Chrome case, that Messi auto was sitting in a pack, sitting in a box, sitting in a case, doing absolutely nothing for nobody. Where in a where was it? Like, was it sitting in a garage? Was it sitting in an attic? Was it sitting, in a
Both.
closet?
Yeah.
Now it's out. It's exposed. Does it circulate news? Does it circulate popularity? Yes. So some people collect sealed wax. I don't believe in it. I believe everything that is, printed in a way should be opened. Maybe
I,
one box,
I agree with that.
personal
I agree with that.
boxes, but the cards are produced so that they could be opened, the packs opened, and the cards traded or collected, not to just be sitting there in the dark for for 50 years,
But
like
the
that's not
problem,
what they're made for.
yeah, but you know why the boxes they get so expensive. For example, with Super Trout opening all the top Chrome, but he's paying a lot of money for.
Oh, forget it. I don't even want to know. Probably the amount of my whole collection was probably the case. I don't know how much that case cost, but I'm guessing it was a lot.
And I kind of admire him to going in this direction. But if you ask him, and I don't want to talk without knowing, but at least I would assume that he's probably losing money. I mean, opening product, especially
Oh yeah.
the way he's doing, is very difficult to. That's why keeping sealed product to a certain level also makes sense. But I agree with you that breakers they open a lot of stuff that otherwise there is no chance will ever see the light of day. So
Mhm.
that's a good point that you made there. That without breakers, probably more sealed product will be kept basically. And yeah, that's a great point.
And I think they get a bad reputation. There's a lot of shadiness that goes on
And
with
that's
breakers.
that's the problem I have, to be fair. Not
Yeah.
if because I believe there is good breakers, that are very fair with prices. That if you get a crazy card, they send you the card, but there is so many shady stuff sometimes that they break a card. If the card is too good, they don't send the card to you. I mean, come on,
Hmm.
what is that?
I
That's
know.
that's so crazy to even think about. Yeah, I don't know. It's
I
is.
have to give a lot of respect to soccer breakers because what he did or does or currently does for the hobby for soccer card collectors, the amount of eminence cases that he opened up for people, for
Crazy.
for his customers. Um, I think the amount of 2016 which I would just watch him just open up packs, just like as if I was watching you, discuss soccer cards. I would just watch him open packs over and over and over again. And he opened up, I don't know, 250 cases of one product, 300 cases. So just you got to give respect to the great ones, and the ones that are shady and the ones that are doing things that really shouldn't be done, like hiding cards or switching packs or doing all those things. And when they get caught, they should be just completely shunned. They should just be completely no second chances, as far as I'm concerned. Because once you lose that credibility, once you lose that trust, there is no going back, because people are giving you money and it's very difficult for them to trust you again. Maybe you have your loyal customers, but as far as new people coming into the hobby, I think it's very difficult for people to buy back in after not trusting you that time.
Oh yeah, I agree. Trust is something that super difficult to obtain, but very easy to let it go.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah.
And that's what's special about Sports Card Radio.
Sure.
Go into that is that they do expose the bad. They're not just, they're not forgetting about all the good in the market, but they want to expose the, I don't want to call it evilness, but what else would you call it? They want to expose the bad people in the hobby, and those people aren't happy. So it's very difficult for these people to show their faces and be on video, show their faces and to expose the bad guys. It's not easy. So I think they have to get a lot of respect for doing so,
Yeah. I believe I saw a couple of videos, because at one point they end up getting quite popular. Sometimes what I do not like, and again, I don't know them very well, I just think that because at least I want to put myself in a position of a person that did a mistake, I think and there is levels of mistakes, of course, like you said, but sometimes I think approaching the person first, talking with is probably the best route. Just, because if you make, I believe the video I saw about them was them talking about sports card investor, that his picks in cards have been awful. But I mean, they are probably correct, but in the other end, I mean, we are in a down market,
I know, like, what do you expect? Everybody's been wrong.
Exactly.
Everybody's wrong.
My picks end up being wrong. Your picks probably end up being wrong. So and when everything is going up, and I'm not even talking about the sports cars ready to be fair, but even other YouTubers, will they also be making videos? Oh, this guy is actually very correct. I don't think so, and that's where I got the problem. So when you do something bad, it's news all over the place. When you do something good, I don't know. I honestly think
it's easy for them to bash on people that were wrong, telling you to buy cards in 2021. I was buying cards in 2021. Does that make me an idiot? No, that just means that's when everything was high. And, what are you going to say? I'm not going to buy cards when everybody else is buying cards. It's almost impossible to go against that grain. No, and I think that's where they get a bad reputation, is that
John, when you believe so much in the market, you will always be buying. At one point in time, you will be buying at the top. But guess what? You love so much in the market that you will be buying at the down, So that's why timing the market is so difficult. I mean, again, I have no idea if next month cards will keep going down. I mean, looking at the macroeconomics makes sense that the most likely scenario is cards actually going down, at least short term. But do I know that for sure? No. So I will be buying no matter what, Even if the market keeps going down, tomorrow I probably buy a card. Next month I probably buy a card. And, because I also believe a lot in dollar cost averaging, in the sense that I don't want to predict if we are at the top or at the bottom. I'm buying consistently,
Exactly.
And of course, I mean, to certain points saying, oh, but don't you care about the macroeconomic? Of course, I also care. I mean, if in my life, if with my family, I cannot spend as much money with cards, I automatically will affect the market to certain level. Even, okay, maybe I'm not buying that more. And guess what? It's not even because I don't believe in the market anymore. Is there is life, there is other priorities that sometimes needs, you need to have basically, you need to have priorities with your money, and cards are not at the top of the list. So I honestly think this
And
type
I
of,
think that day is coming.
yeah, for
I
no,
think that day is coming. I
I
really do
think,
believe that day is coming. Whether it be Europe or whether it be in China or whether
John,
it be in America,
if you want,
unfortunately, I believe that day is coming.
John, actually, it's quite crazy that this was a topic for today's conversation, because I believe yesterday the Portuguese government ended up announcing the first stimulus check.
Oof.
Um, that's, and we know that's not a good sign, and I believe
Yeah,
more countries in Europe are also considering that. Some countries already gave people money. Oh man, but that's not a good sign. If they are giving money right now, they basically know
they know it's coming.
bad things are coming. And we also know, to be fair, I mean, everyone can
If
watch the
you
news.
if you walk around like this, then you don't know it's coming, you know. But if you have the shutters down and you're perceiving things and you're listening to experts. So if I wanted to learn about soccer cards, I'm not gonna go anywhere but to your channel. So a lot of times I want to learn about finance. I'm not a finance guy. I'm a union worker. So what do I know about finance? But not much. Not much that I learned in college, let's say. But I'm interested in economics. And because I'm
That's
interested in economics, and I also collect baseball cards. And economics affects the price of baseball cards. So by learning more about economics, I'm learning more about what's going to affect the price of assets in general, whether it be stocks, whether it be housing, whether it be baseball cards, whether it be, porcelain vases. It could be anything.
yeah, no.
Stamps. You know what I'm saying? So because I love listening to experts on YouTube, millions. I listen to Peter Schiff. He's a very big guy. Um, I listen to who else? Whatever it is. They're not so much economists. They're more like finance guys that I listen to. And they all basically say the same thing, is that we're headed for a global situation, not so much
No,
Michael.
I kind of agree with that, honestly. I mean, who knows, because things can change so the sentiment on the market sometimes changes so fast that is, I mean, making predictions is always honestly quite difficult. But if I had to guess, I also feel that, yeah, the future is probably not at least short term. I don't see a scenario where things cannot get more difficult. Yeah.
Well, I think his name is Michael Berry. He predicted the '08 stock market crash. They
Mhm.
made a movie about him called The Big Short. It was a book that came out. So he's coming out again and he's saying that prepare, that the market is showing signs of another crash. Now, I don't own any stocks, but I do own sports cards that, well, I mean, I have a 401k, so I'm looking at that. I have money invested in the stock market through that, but I have sports cards and I'm going to tell myself, okay, do I wait to buy the cards or
Yeah.
do I hold and hold off, or do I continue to buy now? I tell myself in the future, when is the buying opportunity, right? And that's one of the things I mentioned in my Instagram story about beware of buying opportunity, because a lot of influencers are talking about how today's a buying opportunity, but it also means that the market is down, that a card that was once $1,000 is now 600. That doesn't mean it's going to go back up to 8 or 9 or $1,000 again. That means it's on its way down. If you buy it for 6, don't be, you know, don't be don't don't be what's the word I'm looking for? Don't expect it to stay at 6, let's say. it might go down to 3. And that's where I was kind of telling you in my story, telling people in my story, if you're afraid of your prices, of the card prices going down, if you care more about money than the cards, if you're not a true collector, if you're an investor, sell.
I
Because
agree.
you're going to see your cards go down. And if that's going to make you unhappy,
And
if that's
John,
going to make you stressed, then sell as fast as you can.
John, I agree. And just the fact that that person is having the thought is almost a sign that he needs to sell, because
Yeah.
there is some people that I guess you and me are probably good examples that we think, you know what? I also think that there is a scenario my cards go down, but I don't need to sell, or at least at this point in my life, I don't care if they go down. That's amazing, and that's probably the best scenario possible in this case. But if there is anyone, even watching this video, that have so much money in cards that they almost feel uncomfortable with the idea of them losing 40%, 50%, who knows? If that money is necessary for your daily life, I agree with you totally. I think is a major sign that, okay, maybe you need to really rethink what you are doing. Maybe you come back in 2 years, 3 years, who knows how long this stuff can go down. But with that, I totally agree with you. And I say a lot of times, guys, if you feel uncomfortable, sell. There is no way of because that's why it's so important when you talk about cards. They are a super speculative asset at the end of the day. That's why it's so important to love what you collect, because you put yourself almost in a win-win situation. Okay, look, this money is extra money. I love this card. I paid $10. If tomorrow is $8, I'm still fine. Of course, $10 is not a lot, but
Yeah.
this goes for every amount of money that you put into the market. So, and the thing about the potential recession, to be fair, we are already in a recession, if you really want to be honest.
By
But
the numbers, 100%. Yeah, we are there.
yeah, but the thing with that is there is still people, even on the soccer card community, that they say, oh, but collectibles, maybe they are different. Guys, one thing, and in this type of stuff, you really don't need to be a genius. If you have less money in your pocket, if you also have less money in your pocket, we will spend less. There is no way around that. I mean, it's so easy. This is very easy to, but then there is people say, oh, but collectibles, historical, they go in a different direction. But that's the top of the top of the top. It's not your card that is $100. That card probably goes down. Again, if you are the guy that bought Mickey Mantle for $2 million in the last week, well, that's different, because if you are spending that amount of money in a card, is probably a very little percentage of your net worth. Is not super
Exactly.
relevant that you need to sell in the future.
That card's not going to go up anymore
Is
in
is
recent.
almost
It's
is a
not.
diff is a different market. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
the market we play. Even people that buy cards that are 10K or 20K, that's a lot of money, but that's still not the top of the market. Top of the market is people that is playing millions and millions and even that, those type of cards, they also can correct, because if people end up overpaying, and if people end up entering the market without the idea of playing the long run game, they also can get burned. But it's a different market for people like me, for people like you, for people that 99.9% of the people watching this video right now. If there is a recession, if the macroeconomics is getting bad and bad and bad, of course we'll see that. Even we are already seeing, to be fair,
Well,
but
nothing is safe.
nothing is
Nothing.
safe. Exactly.
Nothing is safe. Yeah. And I think when housing, excuse me, housing is number one factor of whether people could live comfortably or not, right? Their home prices are steady. But in 2008, a lot of people lost their homes because they bought high. There was no more sellers because they contracted the debt. They contracted the amount of money that they were loaning out. And you know what? And I said this in my post also, I think a lot of people buy these cards on credit. And then they end up paying, they sell the card and then they end up. So I think I saw a study where more people in America have credit card debt than in any point of history. So once people basically max out, I think a lot of these card sales are going to go down, because I don't think people are holding $10,000, $20,000 cash, and they're going to say, what can I do with this money? Am I going to invest it in a LeBron James PSA 9 or PSA 10? Or am I going to hold on to this money because everybody's talking about how there's a global recession coming, a global depression coming? Of course, they're not going to put that money into the card. They're not going to put the money into anything. They're going to hold on to the money because they don't know what's coming next. Or maybe they do know what's coming, and that's why they're going to hold on to that money, because it's a very scary future that is upon us. And it's not doom and gloom. Like, I'm not a doom and gloom guy. I believe in the world that we live in, but it has to be built on rock. And I think a lot of the things that exist in this world today, based on the amount of money that was printed, I think a lot of it's built on sand, and a lot of it's just, the numbers are all fabricated. Nothing is real as far as I'm concerned. Like, let's just say comps, for instance. One day a comp could be X amount of dollars. The other day a comp could be $500 less. Like, what is the price of the card? But as far as
in cards, it's so difficult to even try to predict the next camp. We don't know, to be fair. But John, just to finish with a positive message, because at the end of the day,
it's kind of depressing talking about this.
Yeah, but honestly, I agree with you in a lot of stuff. But for example, all the cards that you showed to me, I could be wrong, but I think in 5 years, 10 years, they will be more expensive than they are right now. Why? Because I still believe a lot in the card market. Maybe in the short term, there is bigger problems to solve right now. But long term, I still believe that the soccer card market in general, if people can afford to hold, if people can afford to keep buying, and that's a big if, I agree. But I think long run the market will have upward strength, especially for cards with strong rarity, with great fundamentals in general, and that's the most important thing for me. I'm not thinking about selling my collection tomorrow, so I don't care that much,
I believe long term, every card that I own is basically going to stay with me for a very long time. So I'm thinking about what this card is going to be worth when I'm 70. It sounds crazy. I'm 40. I'm thinking about how much is that card going to be when I'm 70? How much is a Mickey Mantle second year, 1953, which is my favorite card, by the way, because I bought that when I was a little kid. I bought a reprint version.
Oh, nice.
that I thought was real. But I was like 12 years old, and I bought a reprint of the 1953 Pops. It came out in like 1991 or 1992. So I'm thinking about how much that card is going to be worth long term, not next week, not next month or next year. I really believe in 30 years. I want to give it to my son. I'm going to say, this is a second year Messi. Really? Wow. This is a 2005 in 2065,
And that's the correct approach, honestly, because if you really think tomorrow or even next year, you can get really disappointed, But if you have a much longer perspective, like I have, like you have, I think a lot of this stuff, especially again, when it comes to prospecting stuff, I think a lot of that stuff can actually go to zero and never come back, But cards from Maradona, Pelé, Cristiano Ronaldo, great cards with great fundamentals. I'm still a big believer in that long run. So even if you and me had a little bit more negative message about the short term, I think long term we both agree that the soccer card market is a market with
100%.
crazy potential. So,
well, I think what we see coming on the horizon is outside sources disrupting the card market. I think fundamentals of the card market are absolutely the rock solid. I
Yeah,
think there's interest.
special soccer. To be fair, I think
Yeah,
soccer because
so many legends.
soccer still feels very unexplored. It still feels that
Mhm.
we can be at the start of something that will be much bigger in the future.
I
So,
think if people can withstand what's coming in the near future, 5 years, maybe when we start to, the process of getting everything back on track, I think they would see a good return on their cards. But I think if you have a collection where the money means more than the cards,
that's
I
the
think
problem.
in the near future you need to make the decision on what is worth more to you, the cards or the money. Because if the money is worth more than you than the cards, then you need to do something about that. It's not,
Yeah.
I'm not telling you to buy or sell, but I'm just telling you if the money means more to you, do something about it. If
No,
the
for sure.
cards mean more to you, these cards mean more to me than money. And the money that I work for and that I put into them, I I don't mind doing if I have to work to not just for these cards, but as a hobby. Everybody's got a hobby, and some hobbies are more expensive than others. You know, uh, what I get out of this hobby, what I get out of collecting Messi cards is special. And holding money in one hand and the card in another, well, money doesn't make me feel special, but holding this card does because it's the first year that I saw Messi play. So when I'm holding it and I'm looking at it, I feel better. I, I feel like a kid again. I love the image, the history behind the card, you know, and and that's what I love about them. I love that they're historical pieces, especially, like the flawless, something simple like this. You don't see cards made like this anymore. And I hope they come
Yes.
out again with another flawless edition because I think people would jump all over it. I think it would be probably I would say 100%, even though Eminence was more expensive than Flawless after it came out. But I think a new Flawless Soccer edition would be just absolutely incredible for the market in general, for the market, you know.
Yeah. No, John, I think that's honestly a great message that you have there, and I think it's a good message actually to finish. Thank you
Mhm.
so much again to spending this time with me. I hope you enjoyed because I also I had a great time. Um, and yeah, any final message to my viewers? This is the time.
Wow, what could I say? I I I have to say, when you started your channel, I was introduced to your channel by somebody else. I said, take a look, watch this guy's videos. He's amazing. He's very knowledgeable. And I said, all right, I'll look him up. And you have the accent. My father's from Italy, so with the
No,
whole accent thing, it's
it's
almost normal for me to talk to you because my father has the same exact accent, but the Italian version. So I talk to you, it's like talking to a younger version of my father. So the conversation is very easy for me. Everything is just, and listening to you is very easy. Um, so I was listening to your videos for a long time, and I took all the knowledge that you had to offer, and I used it to my advantage.
no.
And I never thought that I would ever be on your show because I was always a secluded collector. I was never on Instagram. I never wanted to be known. I never wanted to show off my collection. I was just me and my cards, and I would just listen to some podcasts and just listen to people talk and um, gather all that information and hopefully use it to my advantage, right? And now I'm sitting here talking to you, and it really is, like I said early on in the episode, it really is a dream come true because once I started to put myself out there and kind of show off my collection and listen to you and you watching you bring on guests and talk about soccer cards, it's kind of like, why wouldn't you want to do that if you're in love with the game, if you're in love with the hobby? I think it's normal to want to be a part of that. So being a part of it now is a little bit special to me, and you give me the opportunity to do that. It really means a
I'm
lot to me.
I'm really happy that I mean the talking podcast the talking cards podcast is this. I want to bring people that are the daily collector, are people that love the hobby, because I think people that are watching, and to be fair, most people don't watch until the end, but let's say there is still a couple of people watching this.
Yeah.
The reality is people love this type of stories. People can get some type of inspiration from what you said, from what I said. And we are still a small community. I think, to be fair, it's not the first time people say that my channel ended up helping them a lot. Honestly, I just do this also because I really like to do the videos. I really want to share what I believe. Lately, I've been not doing that much content as I did when I was starting. But and I'm being more than honest saying this. I'm just one of you guys. I'm also learning and trying to improve myself, to improve my collection. And yeah, for me this was a lot of fun. John, again, gonna say it again, but thank you so much for the time, because this was almost 3 hours, which is quite crazy.
No way.
I believe
Wow.
so.
Crazy. I don't
But
know how much you're gonna edit, but that I can't believe it's 3 hours.
yeah,
Honestly,
this
it
this will
feels
give
like a
me
short amount of time.
this will give me a lot of work. But yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much. And yeah,
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, really.
guys, see you next time. Bye.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.